Following the worst week for the S&P since back in December, we are seeing more negative numbers coming up this morning ahead of the Fed coming up on Wednesday. We'll get the first decision on interest rates for the new year on Wednesday this week, along with a whole slew of big-time earnings, including Microsoft. We'll get Apple. We'll get Tesla all this week. We'll get IBM after the close tonight. It was pretty ugly. If you took a second over the weekend to have a look at how the markets did last week, we had the S&P down 5.7% on the week, closing below its 200-day for the first time since June of 2020. The Dow off 4.5% last week. The NASDAQ leading the way 7.6% to the downside on the week last week, now 14+% off its all-time high into correction territory. Peloton shares moving around once again this morning. We'll have a look at Peloton again. Reports over the weekend from the Wall Street Journal suggesting that CEO John Foley might be escorted out, possibly. Some activist investors talking about maybe it's time to make a change. As I said, some of the biggest names in tech set to report earnings this week. We'll talk about Microsoft coming up here, Apple as well. Important week for some of these tech stocks. And what can we say about crypto? It was a tough weekend. Once again, it looks like 30,000, just a matter of time for Bitcoin before we get down to that very important level. It's Monday, January 24th, 2022. TraderTV.live starts now. There we go. Some red numbers accelerating, in fact, to the downside here for futures. Yeah, now full percent for the S&P, 0.5% for the Dow, 1.5% for the NASDAQ there leading the way. So here we go again. Yeah, look at the bottom end of that board. Wow. 14.8% for Ethereum right now. Bitcoin off more than 8.5%. If it's an equity involved in crypto, it's not looking good so far today. Coinbase down more than 4% here. Pretty much anything involved in cryptocurrency is going to be under pressure. It's going to be an important week, as we said, ahead of the Fed coming up on Wednesday. Good morning, guys. We are into the biggest week, you could say, for earnings. Apple, Microsoft, Tesla, all coming up this week. What do we do here?
So, I mean, okay.
Well, at least football went well.
Yeah, that's, I don't know what to say, man. Green Bay loses on.
We're winning the whole damn game. You know, okay, the thing is, at least your team was back and forth. It was like, who's going to... I don't know. I mean, I think it makes it more exciting. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it makes it any better, but yeah, the Packers winning until the very last play of the game. And, you know, hopefully see you later, Aaron Rodgers. I want to start the Jordan Love project right now. I know it'll be epically failed, but whatever.
Look, man, Aaron Rodgers wasn't blocking on the punt team. That's all I'm going to say.
He also wasn't throwing touchdowns. I mean, we got 10 points. The guy throws 0 touchdowns. MVP, Aaron Rodgers, 0 touchdowns.
I'll tell you this.
This is supposed to be a market show.
Yeah, I know. It's a market show, and it's not a great start to the week, but it's just one of those. We're in the correction. We're in a new phase. Obviously, we're not waiting around till earnings for some of these names to get beat up here a little bit. So I buckle up because it's going to be a wild ride. Not as wild as the game last night, but you know certainly it's going to be.
That was the best game ever.
No, it wasn't, because overtime rules suck.
Yeah, the overtime rules do suck, but I feel like that was the most entertaining game, honestly, of all time. I've never seen a better football.
My heart rate was actually
and the refs weren't
117. My heart rate got to 117 while sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
That's actually probably not very good, but
no,
that's
pretty bad.
That's a different story. Let's
see somebody about that.
Let's go back to Brennan because I mean, whatever.
Brennan's like, what football?
We had that conversation already. Cardio of a different kind, I guess, Neil, on the couch. That's impressive. I don't know if I've. We got a lot to get through this morning. Before we get too far ahead of ourselves here, let's say good morning to Miss V. She'll be in the chat once again today.
Good morning, team. Happy Trading Monday to you all. I wish you luck. I wish you a great day. Please don't forget to like this video, and let's get it started, Brandon.
Yeah, let's get it started, guys. Lots to get through this morning as we head towards what's going to be a busy morning, what's going to be, as we said, an important but very busy week for the overall market. We'll start things off with the overall market here, guys, because we are As we said, we closed on the S&P 500 below the 200 period moving average on the daily chart for the first time since June of 2020 last week. We're now getting back into some very key levels. If you go back to this kind of time frame, down a full % here already in the pre-market. And it looks like the volume is starting to pick up to the downside as well. Here we go again.
Yeah, I mean, the S&P had basically been, it had been coming off, obviously, but there was the NASDAQ that was leading the way. And, below the 200, the momentum is pretty clear now. So, you're not really yet, well, I guess, what am I even talking about? We're basically at that 10% mark in a matter of, in just a little bit here on the SPY. And, yeah, it doesn't seem like any signs of abating. Obviously, we have some big earnings to get to this week. It's just, I'm not sure how big of a difference it's going to matter. Now, one thing is usually true. Even in the midst of moves like this, pullbacks, corrections, whatever you want to call them, there tend to be at least some points, some up days. We're talking in the chat about some of the vaccine names and how it's been such a clean move down for your Modernas of the world. There's probably going to be some bounce days, so it is worthwhile sort of looking for areas where there still has a chance for potential bounces. So I'm looking back at the ES. You might start to say to yourself, this 42.5 level, 43. If you're looking at the SPY, sorry, 430, 425 area, could be interesting in the next day or two. The bigger thing is, I mean, Apple and Tesla this week. I mean, Tesla specifically, right? Like, from a valuation standpoint, like nothing is, sort of like the air is a bigger riser and crazier valuation out of a big name than something like Tesla. So it'll be interesting to see how the market treats that one, because Apple, okay, like I'm expecting them possibly to trade down and be a value, but Tesla could do some things that you don't see happen with trillion-dollar companies, and I think that's going to be the one to watch this week for me, volatility-wise. Yeah,
I mean, volatility-wise, we're already. I mean, we're at 890 right now on Tesla, guys. God. 888 breaking right now as we speak. So my chart's, of course, still on Lucid. The imbalance locator right now. You may have never, ever seen this on the show before. I know it's a good letter, S, but they're all sells this morning. So we'll wait. And guess what? This is without the NASDAQ. So this is all sells here and not one name in the NASDAQ. So Ford, a big sell today. I was going to say maybe going to crack 20. Maybe going to crack 20. It's at 1950. Like, these are stocks I've never even seen before. I mean, we've seen these levels, but like when you come in, and I was going to say, will NEO break 28? How about 25 to start with? Like, is Palantir going to be back down to 10 soon? Like 1250 for Palantir? Like, some of these names today, I mean, forget about Alibaba, 118. This was just 137 2 days ago. Ford was $26, $25.50 3 or 4 or 5 days ago. Look what we're talking about, these names coming from. They're absolutely getting killed. And then you started with Tesla. I think that's an important name that we start with here, as Tesla going to come out, I believe it's Wednesday morning, or is it? Anyways, it's midweek. It's either Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday there. So we'll see what comes with Tesla. But look at Tesla right now. The charts doesn't look super smooth on that because I have this stupid wick up here. But you're taking out this 900 again. And it's not super concerning to me, really, because we're only back to December 21st levels. But it does suck to know how fast and furious a lot of these moves are coming through. And so we'll just have to wait to see what Tesla does. I think we have a few notes here on our sticky note. I was really, really hoping that 885 would come into play. And yeah, that's coming into play right now. So we still have, the funny thing is we still have an hour to go, and we're not even really going over levels yet, because honestly, in 40 minutes, so much can change. So I'm going to fix this Tesla chart so we have a little bit of a better look. But even Lucid, Brendan, we just talked about the EV space a little bit. That's now below this 36 level that we put on the sticky note as well. This 36 level has held pretty much this whole time. I mean, we got, up and down. We've seen Lucid go crazy in here, in and around some special days here. But wow, a big dump off here for Lucid below 36. And on the sticky note today, Tesla, Softy, Coin, Lucid, AMD, and a little note down here about AMC. So definitely check that out. I'll put it in the chat. But wow, today, man, I mean, it might not be any trades or too many trades right off the open to see where these things settle down, because we could get an epic flush and we want to be able to pick something up.
Yeah, make sure you stick around for 9 o'clock this morning. Going to be an important day to get Arun's opinion on what could happen here for the overall market. I was just looking at Snapchat here as well. 6 already, 6.5 already, back to 30. for Snapchat. A number of negative notes here on all of the social media stocks. So Snap mentioned, Twitter mentioned, Pins mentioned. Yeah, here's the EV group as well, getting hit this morning. As you said, there's Lucid, Rivian as well, more than 4% to the downside. Gonna be tough to find some positivity outside of, if you see that headline up there, Coal's up, yeah, more than 30% on buyout rumors. But let's maybe take a second to discuss some of these social media stocks this morning, because I mean these daily charts are getting pretty bad.
Yeah, valuations matter. It's one of the other things we were talking about.
You shouldn't be buying Snapchat. Right?
No, like the Fed balance sheet goes from, it'll be $9 trillion, and then Goldman's saying when they're done in a couple of years, it'll be down to like 6 and change, right? So like that's just the Fed. Like forget about interest rates. Like that's just taking a third of their balance sheet away. Like that's exactly where a lot of the support for this market comes. So like the broad market itself should be pulling back, like 25 to 30% based on that at some point, if you're thinking it's forward-looking within the next year, right? So we're kind of halfway there, and if you think about like the S&P itself, so let alone these growth names, like you start to look back, and if you think about pre-pandemic for a lot of these names, coming right back to those levels is, you should almost just expect it. So when I look at Snapchat in particular, because its run started, you look at that 2020. You had the double top here, like $26, $27. Just all the reason in the world to think we're headed right back there. The crummy thing about this morning, well, there's a lot of crummy things about this morning, I guess, in general. But the crummy thing is some of these names are breaking or have broken through on light volume, very, very key levels, which is why Sean's saying you have to wait around a little bit. I mean, DWAC from where I wanted it to where it is right now was like $3 or $4. You've already broke, like you said, like Lucid's already broken a key level. Snap's already through, it's well through that 33. It's broken $30 on light volume. So it's Tesla already tested that 885 level, 885, 886 on the daily chart. So you definitely want to let these things simmer a little bit for 30 minutes or so. But this is, if I'm looking to buy things on the dips, this is not the place that I'm going to be looking to defend necessarily, like the Snapchats of the world. But there might be some good opportunities for bids on mornings like this. I just don't know if it's like Snapchat, the first place that I'd be running to.
No, that's why we put, definitely do not run. I mean, this is why we trim some crypto, right? I mean, and we don't have a problem telling you guys that. I mean, that's sort of what I'm trying to do here, is explain to you what we're doing with crypto, why we're trimming, what was going on. And I said that once we broke 40,000, we got out of 25% of the crypto that we had there for everything. Solana, absolutely everything. We did dip back in yesterday below $100 on Solana, but that was a mistake. We bought some 95s yesterday, and just look what's been happening to the crypto market right now. And you want to talk to, Neil just talked about Fed balance sheet. I mean, these are supposed to be all decentralized, but as assets start to go down, you're going to see a lot of these names. We still even looked at them last week, like Cardano. It's even hard to explain what a lot of these businesses are even doing, let alone the projects. There's hundreds of projects a lot of these coins are working on, right? And these companies are working on it. And then, of course, you need the coin to get it going. And the problem is, right now, there's just no support for any of these names. It's just people pulling out. They want to get into safety. And obviously, crypto is the complete opposite of safety. So you're looking at Cardano here, sub 100, right? Or sub $1. We got out of this thing, not out of it, but we got out of half of our Cardano at least, near 125, 126. It's been a loss. I mean, you can't hold crypto right now and win. So Solana down to $82 is something that's very, very interesting. And then the flight to safety, I still consider Tesla honestly pretty safe. Microsoft, I think, is a good safety net as well for a lot of traders, well below the 50-period moving average. This is why this is on my sticky note. I've never seen, honestly, in the history of myself trading Microsoft, besides, and I'm not even sure, I'll have to go back and look at the pandemic low, but like this much off of the 50-period moving average, I don't think I've ever really seen this, let alone touching the 200-period here for Microsoft. And this is barring, COVID. But right now, a big, huge move down to a lot of these names. I think you got to run to safety. I recently, last week, just bought, and I'm not doing this anymore. We're going to have to wait. But 350, I bought Goldman at 338. Thank God that's not even that low. But like even these stocks, everything tanking. Morgan Stanley, like the flight to some of these banks, 96. That's actually doing pretty pretty good. And then JP Morgan, we sub 140 almost. So, you know, there's really nothing here today. Look at a stock like Chewy. Like, you want to talk about a name that we're out of this name, but this is one that was a darling for us for a very, very long time. I remember talking about this name at $100, and there's gonna be a lot of different examples like this. Starbucks today below 100. Like, look at Chewy. Chewy just last week was $60, man. Not last week, like December 30th, 60 down to 36. Right? Forget about Peloton. Look at stocks that we love, like an AMD today. What is that, 230? 223 right now for NVIDIA. So, I mean, these are stocks that have been absolute darlings here in the tech, and there's the split. But it's been absolutely a monster. So I think there's at some point, man, you got to sit back and say, hey, some of these are overdone to the downside, and I don't know if that's going to be now. I'm not rushing to the gate to buy anything here, but at some point there's going to be an epic flush to the north side, and I think you want to start to nibble in when you start to see that. So hopefully we're going to be here, we're going to be trading, and if we see this bump up, we'll try to identify it for you, but right now it's just nastiness.
Nasty, and more to come possibly. Again, Fed will start their two-day meeting on Tuesday, interest rate decision on Wednesday at 2 p.m. So make sure you're right here. We'll talk you through that Fed decision. No one's expecting an interest rate hike coming out of this meeting, but we'll get more indication as to maybe how many are expected now, if they've changed anything. Again, coming up on Wednesday, we'll get the press conference from Fed Chair Powell as well. If, and it's a big if, today we start to see a little bit of strength coming back into the market. There is strength here in the pre-market in retail stocks. Yes, there's news, merger news or buyout news possibly with Kohl's. We'll talk about Kohl's, but all of these other names getting a nice little pop on that and some underlying strength. So I just brought up Macy's here up 6.5. Trying to hold 24.5. So again, if we start to see a little bit of upward movement today in the overall market, maybe you go to the retail group.
I mean, that's where it's at right now. I mean, like I said, I guess we'll talk about Kohl's because you know, they're on the watch list, of course, and they got a couple of offers. But Macy's and Nordstrom's also looking pretty good. I mean, they're both up pretty significantly. Pick your poison here. And it's not as if they haven't been left out of the sell-off, by the way. Like Macy's in particular. Like Macy's did have that, it's got the short interest, so it had that squeeze top up to 38. And it has been off precipitously, but you know, certainly you could look at this. It's like, okay, well, it's actually some interesting support. Like the chart pattern looks pretty spicy to me, anyways, off that 200 and the 23 double bottom here for Macy's. Then I look right over to my 15-minute. Like, look at the shelf on 25.25, and then we touch that in the pre-market. It's like tick above 25 and then immediately fall off. So it looks to me like even something strong like this is running right into a pretty decent chop zone on Macy's. And I was just sort of like, you know, Sean was talking about some of those names. I'm scanning through my quote board as well. Look, there's even some safe names that have been getting beaten up and down maybe more than you think. What makes Macy's at least interesting here, if it can get through this 25 to 26 area, or maybe even give you a dip would be better down to like 23.50 or so, is that it's so far off from those highs. And we do know that it has that squeeze potential as well. So that's why I would lean towards trading this over a Nordstrom's, although they both have, I think, about the exact same bump. I think because of this roof here at 25.25 to 26, you probably want to be trying to get this on a dip to 24 even. That's where the previous resistance was on Friday. So I'm looking to trade it. It's done over 1 million shares this morning. Like Macy's is going to be on the list to be able to trade. It just kind of stinks that I already put in such a rejection at previous support. But there's not much that looks strong this morning that isn't in the retail space or isn't getting bought out or isn't the micro cap.
Yeah, I'm going to have to make sure I get some Lucid shares here short. Look, I'm just going to go over to the ETF to make it as simple as possible. We've absolutely destroyed Macy's, trading it here live on the show for you. But if you're looking to invest in something, why not just take out the XRT right here? It's a good one. This is the retail. It's iShares Retail Index. You can see you're right at some key levels again. Like, you know, some of these names just continue to get beat up. And I feel like retail, the consumer in the United States is like the strongest thing going whenever there's weakness. And, you know, even if the government decides to put money back into people's pockets, nobody saves it. They all spend it. And I think that's just the way it is, right? I mean, everybody wants the newest and best gadget. They want to buy the best kicks or whatever. Retail, I think, is going to be here for a very, very long time. So, I mean, obviously, but XRT is continued to be a good one. And I like it, man. I mean, a little bit of a small dividend there. You could trade Macy's, you could trade JWN, Nordstrom's, things like that. But I'm really excited for this XRT. I think you're at a key level here. It's on the Amex. This is definitely something to look at if you are trading it. And I was just looking up the dividend here to see, because I want to make sure that there actually is one before I say that. But it makes sense that there's something in the retail side of things here. I don't see. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it's only 0.7 right now, so it's just a 0.7 yield, so it's very, very small. So not a huge dividend at all, but I still like this better. You can see Walmart's actually holding up okay. Target's gotten hit, but they were on such a huge run. Walmart's still 140, which isn't unbelievable considering where we've come from. I mean, the high of Walmart in this whole run is 150, so you're only back down to 140. This name probably gets absolutely hammered as well soon. Target, a little bit higher with a little bit of a worse valuation, so you can see how far they've come down, cracking new levels lower as well. So Target and Walmart, not a good spot to hide. For me, man, it's XRT all day, every day. I think that you can't go wrong with something in an ETF space if you want to pick up retail. You'll be happy with this in a year for sure.
All right, a few names on this board I mentioned already, but we'll have a look at some downgrades first, because the market is, if you hadn't noticed, very red. There's Netflix. I didn't even get to look at Netflix this morning after what happened last week. So Jefferies with another price target cut on Netflix. There's Snapchat. There's Twitter to the downside. Credit Suisse. Barclays downgrading Credit Suisse as well. Nothing hugely exciting here other than Affirm to the upside this morning, guys, but obviously still down 4% for Affirm.
Yeah, I mean, it goes without saying it's going to be down. Yeah, I guess you'll see this from time to time in the down market. You're going to get some upgrades on names that have fallen ridiculously far, and maybe I don't know that it signals necessarily a bottom, but I watch Affirm every single day. I know it's not going to be on our watch list, but it's been like the vehicle to short. Like when I don't know where to go, I tend to jump over to this name, and it's right back to 2021 lows here. Well, higher lows, I should say, at that 54 range. So that's first support. And then the all-time low sits right in the precipice back at like 46 and a half. So it's been pretty solid. Like every single day last week, there was a couple of good opportunities. It was a little bit tricky on Tuesday, but every other day, you basically just wanted to short every single time it tried to make a pop. So I'm not going to change anything with a name like this. I don't care about the upgrade. If it tries to get back to this 58 high, I'm looking to fade it, play the pattern. I know some people have looked at things like Moderna when it falls every single day. Just find yourself into a short, try to do what works. So I don't really care too much about the upgrade. I'm going to try to be shorting this one. If it breaks that 58 top, then I know I'm wrong and I can just get out.
I see there's a lot of talk about the bear. Yeah, so this is a bear that can change into a bull. But today and for... yeah, unfortunately, quite a little while here. I mean, maybe if we put it into a bull, then it will rally, but we've tried that before. It doesn't work, so on all of that. But yeah, look, Affirm's, I mean, all these stocks are just straight hot garbage right now. I mean, there's so many of them. There's PayPal, there's SoFi, there's Affirm, there's Square. I mean, check out Square, AKA Block, like Blockhead, that stock rate. I mean, look at Square. Square was $280, okay? I didn't even, honestly, I say look at Square. I had no idea that we were down to 112. Like this was 200. I'm not even talking that long ago. Like I'm talking November. This stock was $280. Okay, now you're down to 112 in Square, and you have Jack Dorsey supposed to be looking after this thing. I mean, Square is absolute. Like I sold. I mean, this is what I mean about selling, and I put Affirm in this garbage basket as well. Selling stocks like TDOC and stuff like that. I thought selling at 86, 87, I was making a mistake. This thing's down to, I didn't think that or else I wouldn't have done it, but this thing's down to $70 right now. And I know we were looking, Neil, at some levels on Affirm, 106, 105, 100. Same thing with a lot of these levels, and they're just getting absolutely cracked. So I don't really think that there's any levels to look at here. Look at ARK, for example, right? I mean, ARK, $68? Like, I mean, this is just getting come on, T-Doc. This is getting absolutely killed. And we don't need to talk about all these names. Roblox down to $68 as well. There's a bunch of names that are getting cranked. I want to look quickly at AMC because I think this is another name. And we're going to get over this. We have a watch list. So you can check it out. Sticky notes as well. But before we do anything, actually, 490 likes, 4,000 watching, 10% like ratio. That doesn't make any sense to me. If you guys can hit the likes, please. That's all we ask for. It's an absolutely free service. Neil and I are going to make a lot of trades today for you. So please hit the like button and I think we're talking about what you guys like here. I'm going to hit this AMC short through 1650. Unfortunately, just the way this market moves here, AMC down 7%. I just feel like no one's going to buy this name, not in this kind of a market. I do believe there is a huge rally coming here. We do know that retail is still holding a huge percent. I don't even know if you have that number anywhere on Icon, and it's a busy day. Maybe we'll get this as we go, or if any of you know this, but let's just see what. No, I'm in a good mood, man. A little mod F there. I'm in a pretty good mood. Down here, 16. I think that right now, a lot of us aren't in great moods because we had a bad football weekend, but that's just for fun. But realistically, I just know a lot of us right now, and I'm not getting hit too bad.
I'm hurting, man.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's hurting, but at the same time, it's more about the market. I'm just frustrated with the fact that it's so negative to the down. Like, we come on here and we don't try to spin a positive angle on things. I mean, I think my sticky note has just as many short ideas as long ideas, but it's like when you look at a stock like AMC, and I know that I'm not in this personally, but I know a lot of our viewers are. So yeah, I'm not in a great mood. Like, this is $29, man, back in January 3rd. It's down to 60, like you're chopped in half in 2 weeks, and it's sad. There's not much cover for a lot of these names. I've recommended SoFi. I thought SoFi was a great buy here. And by the way, the Rams now get back-to-back home. Like, imagine that. You're home in the NFC Finals, and then you're home in the Super Bowl. If they
I'm trying not to think about it, man.
If they can manage to win.
I was having you know why the Bills lost? Because I had the conversation with my wife about the fact the Bills were going to have a chance to host the AFC title game.
Oh, right.
So I put it out there. Then I would love to go.
Yeah, that would be easy to go.
And then, of course, I shouldn't have even said it. I shouldn't have opened my mouth. But on your line of thinking, I absolutely 100% unequivocally bungled a short in GameStop at $100 last week. So it's right here. I'm not even making this up. 100 is on the offer. It's right back at $100. I'm looking. It popped. It got to 104 and then just sort of slid down. I got it on the way back down and then only gave it $1 worth of room. Today, I'm going to give this a little bit more room when I try shorting GameStop at the open. But I want this market to open up or at least get it closer to some volumes coming in at 9:30 for some of these plays. But I'm going to go back to that well. It had a big relief rally and it's given it all back, and the setup is almost exactly the same as what we saw on Friday. And sometimes that works out for you pretty well because these patterns, when they repeat themselves, you want to take advantage of them. There was a brief bounce in the market there.
How brief? Because it was still down 1 point.
Tetra, it was like a small, little tiny one. I mean, Tesla got back to 900. I guess that's saying something. Ooh. And then it's back to 95s now. So, I don't know. Yeah, it's feeling pretty weak so far this morning, but we've seen reversals. So I'll stick to the same thing I said on Friday, where when you take these shorts, when you're looking for your shorts, make sure you do have outs. Like, even if you want to give it more room, make sure ultimately you do have an out, right? You just can't get caught too hard at the bottom, especially in a squeeze type name.
Brendan, I don't know if you want to look quickly at the ruble versus the U.S. dollar. I know we have Miss V on the thing there about the Russian ruble. But right now, it's getting absolutely cleaned up. Russia is going to, it looks like, and despite what people around our corners say, I believe Russia goes into Ukraine. This is getting to be too much now. There's too many tensions here. JP Morgan closes all long ruble positions. Like, they closed all long. Like, these guys hold positions to hedge, and now they're closing all of their longs on the ruble. So I guess it's ruble USD, ruble euro. So maybe, I don't know. I don't know if we have the symbol here on our platform for the Russian ruble, but maybe you might want to look that one up because it hasn't spiked above 80 and stayed there sit for a very, very long time. So we'll do our best to try to find that. But just to give everybody some kind of chill zone here. Oh, don't tell me the Qs won't load. They won't load. But what I wanted to get at here quickly was, maybe I can just show this just quickly, is that although the market is falling, there has to be a point, and like that my charts work, and there has to be another point where you just kind of relax just a little bit, because even though it's Tank City, we're down to 346 here on the Qs, we were here just in October. And I don't want to say it sucks when you have paper profits all wiped out, right? Because a lot of us saw our accounts rifle to all-time highs. There's absolutely no doubt about that. I mean, pretty much everybody's account, unless you're shorting, was at an all-time high pretty much back in October, November, and then you have a high just at the beginning of the year. The market, Brendan, as you know, we're at all-time highs as we open up the year. So this little pullback, although this is not healthy, this is way too much, but at the same time, I think we got to relax just a little bit and kind of just calm, breathe. Don't sell everything on negative days like this. Let the market rebound a little bit because this is too far, too fast. In my opinion, there has to be some kind of bounce.
Yeah, I saw the Russian stock market as well limit down at the open this morning. So it was down about 9%. Once it did start trading again. So TSM here, I wanted to mention another group that is some sort of strength here. Taiwan Semiconductors, some of the chip makers were higher. They did fade this move back to basically where we ended on Friday, but trying to bounce here. For TSM. We'll talk about that, but before we do, let's bring in Arun here. Going to be an important day for the futures, the overall market here, Arun. Selling coming back in as we speak here.
Yeah, market's picking up some activity to the downside quite a bit here. When I sat down at 8 o'clock, we were at 43.60. Now we're at 43.25 and we're accelerating. So clearly there's some early selling going on in the pre-market, which sometimes gets reversed when the market opens. And I think at this point, given how fast we're moving, just wait for the market to open. And at that point, you'll get more of a clearer understanding of how this market wants to play when we're moving this far and this fast to the downside. In terms of levels, though, I mean, there's really nothing. We've cleared everything that could have potentially supported us. The only thing I can think of is maybe 14,000 even on the NASDAQ, which is about 150 points away. That's the only thing that's potentially there to slow this market down. In terms of the ES, though, we may have something around the 42.80, somewhere between 42.50 and 42.80. We spent a decent amount of time for a few days there back in early October, so that's still in play potentially. But again, this is the kind of market where you just sit back, wait, let the market develop the levels that it wants to trade with. Since we don't have anything that's workable and that's already been established well. So just let the market do its discovery with the process. And at that point, we will find something that we can figure out. Clearly, we have downside momentum. So you're looking for potential shorts on maybe a pop or something like that if we get some stability on a move up. So when a market moves this far down, what you want to see is how does this market handle a move up? If the move up is kind of slow and kind of I guess contained a little bit, at that point, it doesn't really have a whole lot of strength. So you look for the shorts, but if it's an aggressive move up, then clearly there's some relief from buying that's going on. So that's what I want to see at the open. I'm going to let this market trade out, find some levels. And at that point, we're going to wait for the open and see how this market wants to play. And then once we get that idea, I think somewhere maybe mid-morning, we'll have enough information to kind of work some trades and find some levels. But for now, with the market being down, NASDAQ almost down 2%, S&P 1.5%, we're going to wait for this market to kind of slow down a little bit and at least wait for the open to make some moves.
Great stuff. Thanks, Arun. We will check back in again tomorrow morning. Let's get into what else is moving around this morning in the pre-market. There we go. That's the link to the watch list, guys. We send it out every single morning before we come on. Has everything you need to know, everything that's moving in the pre-market, and a little on why. And then you join us at 8:30. We'll talk you through everything you need to know heading into the open. I just saw Fubo, not on the watch list, but Fubo here popping up. They've acquired rights to select UEFA national team football, UEFA European Championship matches through Fox Sports. So that's a good indication of what kind of environment this is, because even on a relatively good news, this thing just made a new low on decent volume. So 5.5% here. Wow. Fubo's all the way back to $9.50. Pretty amazing. This thing was up around $40 at one point. Let's talk Tesla to start things off, because they announced a new deal with Panasonic. I mean, it's not a huge news story, but worth a mention here. New multi-year deal with Panasonic to produce lithium-ion batteries for the company. And they're going to invest about 80 billion yen, or about 705 million US into this.
I mean, I think Tesla's a perfect example of what's exactly happening in this market, and that is that Tesla, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, here's another one, plans to invest 80 billion yen, production facilities in Japan. We know their production facility in Germany is ready to rock and roll. We know that they're producing crazy amount of cars in China. We know the demand is ridiculous. I think Tesla, they just released, they sold more Teslas, I believe, than diesel vehicles in Europe for the first time ever. So, I mean, look, and what I mean by this is, like, Tesla's firing on all cylinders here. And sure, the valuation for Tesla is always going to be high, right? I mean, I'm not even sure what the PE is. I mean, let's look it up right now. 100 right now, 101. Their current PE is 306, but the forward PE, 101. So 300 PE, right? Obviously, that's never mattered for Tesla. So let's just look at the prices here. You're coming all the way to the downside here. I'm not worried about the price to earnings. They're like a revolutionary company, and they shouldn't be getting killed as much as they are right now. I mean, in my opinion, they're doing everything right. They're going to come out with a monster quarter, and they'll probably guide higher. But at the same time, they're the ones that are supposed to have the supply chain all figured out. And down 6%. I just wonder when a lot of these names start getting cracked, it's just like they're so held. Like ARK holds so many Tesla shares. NASDAQ is loaded with Tesla. Like the S&P, there's just so many names here. All the ETFs for EVs are all loaded with Tesla, and those are all getting cranked. I mean, you look at Lucid today as well to the downside, right? So a lot of these names today just getting hit, and I feel like you are throwing the baby out with the bathwater here a little bit, because I feel like Tesla shouldn't be, I mean, sure, it should be. Everything else is below the 50 period. So, I just feel like this is another name that needs to get bought. But when you're seeing Microsoft at the 200 period, you're going to see Facebook at the 200 period. You're seeing NVIDIA and AMD below the 200 period. So I think that's where Tesla's going. So unfortunately, it looks like 800. This is definitely a name. And the last I sold this was at 1020. We felt pretty dumb when we sold this at 1020 when it broke right here to the downside, and it went all the way to 900. Then it ripped back to 1200. And I was like, oh man, I can't believe we sold 1020s. But now it's right back down. So these are some of like the games you're going to need to play with your accounts. It's like you're going to try to sell things on pops and buy things on dips. And I believe Tesla anywhere near 800 as far as the long term is a huge buy in my opinion, down to the 200 period. Do your own research and find the last time that happened. And then honestly, I tried to zoom out and try to do something, but I'm just going to use 885 as a bottom here today. I mean, that's where we bounced off of. We bounced off of that in the pre-market. So for me, 885 is a level that I'm going to try to have a bid in about 20 minutes or so. We'll put a bid down near 885, watch it crack down, and then I guess 880 is going to be my give up spot. I feel like the market could crash early here, just people flushing out their accounts, putting in sell orders. Like I even just messaged my father this morning. I was like, don't you dare hit a sell key into this open, because this is not going to be, you're going to regret doing that, I feel like. So I'm getting ready to pick up some assets, not dump some, and I want to be a buyer of Tesla down there near 885.
Yeah, like that 85 today, that's about the only thing that stands out. And I look back and I say to myself, I look at the 200 period and I just simply think that Tesla could be headed back to a number that has 3 6s in it or something at least in that range. And that's not unrealistic in this environment. So, we're going to see the earnings come out. Obviously the valuation's pretty crazy, but that 885 could come with 20 minutes to the open. It looks like we're going to double tap that right now after already testing it in the pre-market. So this is the environment that we're in. And if you're looking for shorts through the bottom, just understand that if a level like this holds, you're $20 or $30 in a heartbeat, you're back into the upside. So if you're taking breakdowns and shorting the absolute low, it can be a tricky and dangerous game. I'm not taking long 80. There's no way at 907 I really want this long on something like a Tesla. Even though the spread right now is only about 40 or 50 cents, I'm still not touching it with a 10-foot pole at 885. I think this one, if it does flush, has some room to go. And I would be, if I'm going to dip into something that gets beaten up, I still like GM's valuation. So it's down 3%. GM here, and if it was my daily chart, is down 3%. It's just cracked through some serious support at 53. This gets down to 48 to 50. The first place I would buy is here because that's the cheapest one relative, the cheapest technically EV producer that I can find in the market that gives you some security. So the first place I would dip would be this one. And we're about $3 or $4 away from, I think, a first re-entry point into something like a GE. As I said, Tesla's right here, 885 is on the bid right now. We still have 20 minutes till the open.
Let's talk about Peloton. Wall Street Journal busy, to say the least, today. They just had a headline on Ford there, guys. I was looking at AMC, but maybe we'll have a look at Ford. They're going to halt. So they're not going to accept orders of the new Maverick pickup truck, that kind of smaller pickup truck, excuse me, until the summer, because they've ordered too many apparently. So Ford did get a little bit of a pop back to the upside, or there's too many orders for them to fill at the moment. So you can't order a Maverick until the summer apparently. That's from the Wall Street Journal. Peloton CEO done, I put on the board there. The Wall Street Journal as well reporting on the weekend that activist investors suggesting it's time for a change in the CEO position, and along with it seems like everyone else these days, begging for someone to maybe come and buy this company.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like that's obvious.
I was begging for it at $40.
Yeah, I know. Like,
Let
look at
alone
the
now.
price now. It's
It will get bought out.
So nobody spoiled billions for me. I understand there was the, I don't know, billions took a shot at apparently at Peloton.
I'm not even caught up in billions.
I don't even know. I don't know. I'm trying not to. I got to catch up and I got to watch the episode from last night. But let's just talk about the price action here, because this is going to be tradable. And you got to a high, and this is pretty interesting, about like $28.5, $29. And I'm not sure we have a shot at seeing that today, but you have noted since the news or fake news or whatever you want to call it, I think there's a kernel of truth to that whole thing. If you're going to be cutting costs, it would make sense that they would halt production. I think they didn't like the fact it was leaked. They had to deny it. So that's just my take on it. But you have been forming a bit of a trend, which would lead you again to maybe fading off of or breaking out that 28.5, 29 price area. It's not doing a ton of pre-market volume here, and there's no obvious breakdown levels. So once again, this just fits in. If it gives you a look off 28.5, I think that's your key price level right up in here. And I should always point to where it is on the chart. It's previous support at 29. You have a previous top here back on Friday. It tried to get there at 28.5 and fell like a rock in the afternoon. So I'm looking back to that level. I think these things are shorts until they're not. It doesn't really get terribly spicy unless you're breaking out at that 29 area or maybe bouncing off the actual low. Playing it in the middle is a good way to get chopped up. And guess what? I just railed on about like why I wouldn't bother taking Tesla because it's only 910. Tesla, there's your bounce. It just bounced off of 885.
Did it?
Broke
Oh,
80.
no.
It looks like it didn't even break. Like it actually went to 885.00. Like that's
That was
actually
my
to
level.
a penny. And it's right back to 896. This is the second time it's bounced down here and gone $10. Neither time has it gone back above 900. So 900 certainly in play for the open.
Wow. Okay. So I went to go refill the water, go get a little bit of a drink there. Saw Gregory, and then it came back and it was at 80. Sat down and he was like, "It's at 885. Look at this." Took out the 900 area support 885. We just talked about that. Try to give it back down to 880. That would have been good. We'll try it one more. We won't. Well, we'll try it the next time it comes down here. But that's a nice little bump back there for Tesla. So we'll try that for 885 if Tesla does come through. I want to talk. Yeah. So Peloton, whatever. I believe Peloton gets bought. Not worth dealing with at this area. I think Peloton's a long from here, not a short. But again, like, with this market flushing, I don't even really want to look at Peloton. There's too many stories there. What I think is more interesting, because we can't figure out Peloton, right? They're probably worth nothing. So it's just a matter of, will some activists come in and demand change on the board? And then if they do that, you know, what will the sort of pushback from shareholders be, and especially big ones? So we'll see, like Starboard or someone comes on board, and there is some activist movement there. Look, that story for Ford is really interesting. They can't keep enough demand. Sorry, the demand is too high right now for their trucks. So, I mean, if you're going to look at a name right now that actually has plenty of tailwinds, not headwinds, and you want to look at a name that's been absolutely clocked out here. I use that word a couple times here. Maybe it's because of the Bills' clock management there and Green Bay's lack of being able to clock people in the face when they get an opportunity to. Look at this, $19 down here. Like, is this not a screaming buy for a company that says that they have an overwhelming amount of demand that they simply can't keep up? Now, you could take that both ways, that's a negative as well. If you have too much demand and you can't meet it, well, hey, eventually that demand dies off, I would think. And if people don't want to return to work and you know, the chip shortage continues, things like that, then of course Ford can fall. But for me, when I hear stories like that, and then you see a little bit of a bounce in the stock, I mean, not huge, but a nice one, considering what the market's doing, you know, I like Ford down here at these levels. So if there's going to be anything, I just said, talking with my father there, I'm pretty large into Ford. I'm just looking at Tesla here on the other side, trying to go through 900 again. But I like Ford buying into these dips. I think that's a no-brainer now. So if there's going to be any stocks that you want to buy that I believe are some legacy names that can last, it's going to be Ford. I would much rather own Ford at these prices than Tesla at these prices. So for me, Ford on that is good. And I would say, yeah, I see you in there, Angel. I see a lot of people there as well. Like, you don't even need to buy stock right now. I mean, this is a trading show, so we're going over some news. I don't think you need to buy any of these names right now. It's just if you wanted to nibble, I think there's a good chance. I mean, there's talk of I don't think it's going to be a world war like people are talking about. I hope there's no more world wars, obviously. But at the same time, China's, not stepping back, stepping down. Russia's not stepping down. The U.S., Canada's even sending some aid over there to Ukraine. Like, it's not a nice spot right now. Oil at, I don't even, actually, my chart changed. I don't even know where oil's at. Let me see, what is oil at? CL $F is 85.
83? 83.
Let's see. Yeah, 83. Yeah, 84. Yeah, 83.96 right now. So oil making moves to the upside. Tesla bouncing around. I don't know. It's nervous times. I wouldn't buy anything at open, but definitely if we can crack down below like that 2.5% again, I think you can nibble in even on an ETF. Buy the SMH or buy the Qs or buy that retail one. But right now, man, this is a dangerous, dangerous spot for equities.
Let's go on to some big tech names. Going to be a big week for these. We get, if you missed it, Microsoft, we get Apple, we get Tesla, all reporting earnings this week. So it's going to be a very important week for the overall market as a result. In addition, the Fed coming again on Wednesday with their first decision on interest rates so far this year. 1% here for Microsoft. 292. I pulled this up in the pre-market and said, oh my God, Microsoft's at 295. Now it's, $3 cheaper than that. So trying to bounce here for Microsoft, guys. We get IBM as well. One of the older names, but IBM aftermarket tonight.
Yeah, look, I guess, I don't know if we're going to talk too much about IBM, but they're not, I guess it's not a horrible place. As legacy tech maybe gets you a little bit of something. But I think in the chat, some people have mentioned that 158 level, previous high, previous support. Apple basically right here at that, right there at that 158. This is well away from, this, I guess the last support at 150 or 200. So it definitely has a chance on the earnings to maybe test lower here. They're going to have some impressive numbers. I think everyone understands that. But even its valuation, it still trades close to 30 times last I checked. So it definitely has some room to come back in before it's obvious that it has to make a bit of a base out. Although I tend to think 158 should at least have some consolidation down there, and that could be in play this morning. It's not right there like some other names. It is bouncing off of that low one time here, but 158 on this was big time support. It's the same thing as you see like Tesla on the day. Like so many names are right at these same key levels at the same time. That's why I say don't get trapped in shorts, because if those are all breaking at the open and people have placed stops at those levels for 930, and then there's no follow through from those levels, that basically just traps shorts, because if it's a stops triggering at 930, breaking those levels, that's the reason they go down, and there isn't any further selling after that, then you can get some pretty decent snapbacks. 158 is on the watch for me on Apple. Certainly it's basically the same kind of thing as a Tesla 885, only a Tesla, I think, could move a heck of a lot more. Apple probably safer, I think, to take the long if you're going to. You're not going to get absolutely destroyed as long as you hold to your stop. That's a key thing today, I think, holding to those stops. But earnings, it's not going to matter that they blow things away, I don't think. You're probably still going to be trading at least a little bit lower in the aftermarket. The way we saw with Netflix, you're very likely to just sell in the aftermarket on those earnings, and hopefully we're above that 158, so that's still a bit of a floor for the stock. Because if you're through there, it's probably headed straight to 150.
Look, wow, this is getting to be nasty. We've already talked about that on the sticky note. We are looking at Microsoft. I think you got to pick up some legacy names here. Down to 290 right now. Neil just talked about Apple. I think that's a no-brainer. And we're just looking at key levels. So you're at 293. So Microsoft at 290 long should hold. We'll wait to see on a flush. That's the 200 period right here on the daily chart. So we've added the 200 period now because the 50 period is gone. So we can't really use that too much as a reference. And that's the sucky thing about technical analysis, to be honest with you, is that it's only good when you're looking at it, and then bang, you got to find some reasons to get in. So people look at lines, and I don't know if that's going to be the right thing or not, but you can see down here we do have a nice little area of support at 280. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to look at 280 here on Microsoft, but into the flush, I definitely want something through 290. So we'll wait to see Microsoft through 290 here. But again, we'll try to pick up Microsoft 290. As right now, guys, Tesla just, wow, I can't believe that. That's a $15 bounce from the support level that we have written right here on the sticky note, 885. We talked about that. We should have looked at that. I want to short crypto, short coin if it gets back to 180 if we don't talk about it. And then let's look at Lucid below this 36 level. But right now, we got to look at Miss V. What's up?
Hey guys, I want to say you a big thank you for 1,400 likes. If you just joined us or forgot to like us, can you please do so and help us to get 2,000 before the opening bell. We have more than 6,000 people watching. So team, please support and like this video. Back to you guys.
Let's continue along, guys. Lots to get through still. Let's talk Kohl's, KSS. We mentioned Macy's, Nordstrom's, JWN, all showing a little bit of strength here in the pre-market. Kohl's up sharply this morning. Reuters report suggesting there's multiple potential buyers for Kohl's. This is a story that we talked about first last week. There was some rumor floating around. I'm still looking at Microsoft here, but KSS, another one, big time strength here.
Yeah, and look, we saw what happened with Activision. This is different because this is not like a firm accepted deal by the board, and this is going to be trying to put it through. But what you do have is a potential, I should say, bidding war between two companies for Kohl's. So that's usually pretty bullish, and the 64 and 65 are the two prices being bandied about here. So you got to think there's going to be some kind of a floor, and I just keep on looking back to Activision, which kept on falling and didn't make any sense to me. But I'm looking at $60. I'm probably going to treat it like an Activision where I just try and scalp trades like long in front of 60 and then the pre-market low here, double bottom at 58.50. Those are the types of things I'm going to be looking to do here over on Kohl's. I think you're not treating it like a firm deal, but there might be 25 to 50 cent wins to be had off of those levels. And I am looking long ultimately on this name just because you have two companies buying. Two companies attempting to buy it here, and I don't think that if a deal got announced, you'd have quite the same regulatory concerns in not being in the tech space. But that doesn't mean that has to be true. You got to stick to your outs. First bid's going to be in front of 60 even, so it's over $1 away on Kohl's for me right now. Nothing too crazy to see here. That 64, 65 also represents the highs from earlier in January. I don't know how heavily I'd be shorting if it got to those prices, if only because you have two parties involved, and a lot of times that means it is possible for it to trade above. But yeah, I'll defend 60 one time, and then reevaluate from there. 58.5 is about that other level to the downside. Outside of that, you might get shaken around here. This is not a scalp bid for a couple of pennies type of situation.
No, I think if there's going to be consolidation in this space, then you just want to be long. I said this earlier, the XRT, which is, of course, the retail ETF. And I don't want to try to pick a winner. I don't know who's going to win. Walmart, Target, Macy's, Kohl's, JWN, Nordstrom's. Any of those other names, there's tons. Foot Locker. I mean, there's a lot of names. So check out the XRT for me. This is something that probably needs to be bought. I mean, it ripped up here on some of that Macy's, got up to $40 or $38, something like that. So I don't know. I think that if you like the retail space, this is definitely an opportunity for sure. But I mean, again, there's so much more room to the downside that if we are going into a little bit of, not a little bit, I mean, you also have issues in the Middle East as well with oil and some bombings going on there. So it's just, it's nasty out there. So I don't know. To me, instead of dipping into these names, guys, I think the best advice I can give right now is an ETF game. I just think it's better to wait around, play some of these ETFs, pick something up on dips, because even if this can crash, we just came from 90 down to 77, if we have a very, very similar month ahead of us, then this thing probably still goes to 60. But where does a KSS go without this buyout? Where does a Walmart go without some of this news? So I think you're still safer right now in ETFs if you want to go in and buy. And I mean, a good example of this, I believe, is going to be the SMH. Instead of stepping in right now and saying, hey, I believe NVIDIA is at a bottom, I believe AMD. If you take the SMH, which is getting absolutely destroyed right now, the semiconductors, this way you get some Marvell, you get some Intel, you get everything. You piece out, you get some Micron, some TSM, you get everything. So you're not worried about picking individual winners. I believe this is a name that should be bought down here near some of these levels. Look at the last time we bounced off the 200 period. Bang, we tried to get there, but needless to say, there's some things here in the ETF space that I believe need to be bought. And for right now, that's the only thing that I can suggest is buy ETFs instead of individual names. It's just there's so much single name risk right now. NVIDIA comes out with a bad story in this environment and you bought today, that stock could be down 15% tomorrow. So let's just wait on a lot of this. I think the wise thing to do would be to step into some ETFs instead of single stock names right now.
Let's go on to the EV world, because a lot of them in negative territory here in a big way this morning. I was just looking at Lucid, probably the most active. We can have a look at Rivian as well, guys. But I mean, the daily charts specifically, the important note here, because all of them kind of look like this. We're either at these levels on the daily chart or below at this point. So Lucid, to begin with, bounced off 35 there this morning, trying to get back to the upside. But big moves here for some of these EV names.
So like Lucid had a day back on the 6th where when it broke 36, it dropped like an absolute rock straight to 34 even, and then snapped back, actually finished the day back up at like 38, 38 and a half. And that was the run, like that was a multi-day run up to the high. So this is the key level right here on Lucid. It's that same 36. Now it's already broken it downside and kind of recovering to it now. But that same price area is going to be what's of concern to me. And I always look back, when was the last time it traded in this range and what happened? And the high in the pre-market that day, if you go right to this line, is about 36.75, and then it broke out from that same price. So I think 36.75 to 37, even above that 36 area, can still possibly be a fade in front of that 37. If it gets through the 37, I'm willing to give it up. Paid for shorts today in Lucid to make sure that we actually have them on board. But just looking back at what happened the last time we were at that price range, I think it would have to be above 37 for me to be convinced, okay, it's trying to make a turnaround and pulling back to the upside. That's not even green on the session because it closed closer to 38 on Friday. But the 36 to 37, it's a fade, giving it to the high of 37 on Lucid here. And there's a few names you could be watching. I'm just picking this over Rivian, just had a little more success with Lucid.
So AMC, unfortunately, right now breaking. We have a 1650 break spot there for us on this name. It just broke on us. I mean, there's nothing we could do about this. Starting to head down to the downs. I mean, we could have shorted it, but I didn't even notice. And that's part of the problem sitting here doing this. We're looking at too many stocks, but it's only 9:26 quickly before we go back over to Brendan, and then we'll come right back here ASAP. Ford, 2 million to sell. Everything, look at this. It's all S's here. S does not mean Superman. It means sell. So we start to slide to the downside here. As you can see, it's going to be a really, oh, NASDAQ's here. Oh yeah, 925. What am I talking about? I was thinking it used to be 928. But here's NASDAQ right there. So there is Apple pressure today right now. 500,000 shares off the offer, going to come out into the bid, hitting off open. So we do have an Apple sell-off happening right now, which is leading the NASDAQ a little bit back to the downside. So here's Apple on that sell. 160.50 down to 159.80. We'll see if Apple takes out some of these new lows here on this sell balance. So yeah, it's looking nasty, Brendan. We only have 3 minutes now.
All right, quickly, guys. BTBD, not a lot in. I mean, this is a micro cap. It's not even a small cap, but not a lot going on in this group today. BTBD, huge gap to the upside. We've already retaken a lot of the important levels that are moving around or going to act as resistance for this thing. 450, if you go out to the daily chart, is this. So it tagged it a couple of times, and then you go up to 525 is going to be that high on the daily chart. So trust me, if we get back above 450, I will no longer be in this. 2 million shares on the float for this one, guys.
If it gets back to 450, I will be in it, and then if it breaks, I will also be out of it. I'm looking for a pop on that one to be able to be faded, and just also looking at Digital World Acquisition, it's down 9%, almost at 10% SSR, although it might have been from last week. Either way, if it pops back up, I'm looking at 69 to 70 on DWAC. Here's what happened the last time it broke out from this range. You saw 74 as a big resistance point. If it breaks through 70, I'd probably try shorting in front of 74. Also, look at this level right here. This is about 65 or so. If it breaks this, I think you're headed right down, at least if not retesting 62s all the way to 56, which ultimately is where I think it would find a bottom. At least going into the potential release date. So 65 is your breakdown. I'd much rather be shorting on pops, as you can see. Just about everything else, I'm looking for pops to see if they can't be faded. And one other one that we forgot to mention, or maybe we did, vaccine names all under pressure. Pfizer is one of those. It is very close to 50 level here on Pfizer, if my daily chart wants to give me. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, so here's the last time it got down to this 50 price. That's the spike you had up to 61. So it's right at that, or almost at that support. It bounced just shy a couple of times pre-market on some decent volume, I should say. So going to look to defend 50 on Pfizer.
All right, so Tesla ripping and rocking with only a minute to go here. Microsoft down to 920, so this one still continues to fall. Tesla just took out 9 again, so 904. It looks like we pegged that 885 to the penny. So it's crazy that we're not long that one. But it looks like Microsoft's going to hopefully give us an opportunity to get some bids in here. We are already bidding 921, so we could get in very, very soon on this name. We are looking to fade out some Lucid trades here as it's starting to go back up to the upside. My first Lucid short should be executing very, very soon off open. We'll see if that goes. If it takes out 37, we want to go long. So maybe Lucid does reverse course here as Tesla starting to head back up to the upside. Just a quick look here on the imbalances. There's only a minute to go forward. I still like this one to the long side, but it's going to have to flush down here to 1950 at least, and then we'll see what happens at 1940. But that's that, man. NEO, $25, still low. Wow, there's just so many low names here with only 20 seconds to go. This could be a very, very spicy open, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely, to say the least. It should be a spicy one. And Ms. V is on the bell. There she is, locked and loaded, ready to go on this Monday. Let's see if it can be hopefully not as bad as it looks like it's starting out here, but 7, 6,
about that.
5, 4, yeah, about that. 3, 2, and ring it, Miss V. Let's get it started.
Okay, so we're already into Lucid off that short, so Lucid does rip upside here. Microsoft, we get a nice little bid to the downside as well. So Microsoft, we actually head lower and wait for that bid to come through. So I don't know, we get a 291.20 there. We'll see if what we could do on that. We should take some out though, as Microsoft going to open lower and crack. Yeah, there it goes, cracking down below 290 right now. There, 288. Yeah, the market is flushing huge now. So we have Lucid short, Microsoft long, but Microsoft is flushing. We kind of did expect this. Let's pick some more up.
Yeah, and oh my goodness, I just missed out on a bit of a pop there on I think it was a firm here, but there's a monster offer on a firm at 54 even. Where's my level 2? Where's my level 2? There you can see it's right there at 54. I don't know if you can see it. There it is. Over 100,000 shares stacked up on a firm there. And I just got into Lucid while I'm trying to chase.
Yeah, this is going to rip through.
I'm short in Lucid, but it's a firm I was trying to get into. I just immediately had my stop on Lucid, but I'm looking at that size and wanting to get in front of it on a firm. It's right there at 54 even. If it breaks 54, then I'm going to be out like very, very quickly. But monster level here. That gets taken out. Could be in for a big reversal though.
Okay, so right now, guys, it's rocking and roll time. Things are starting to bounce a little bit here for us. As Microsoft's starting to bounce. Lucid, we do have that long. We took the long through 37, so we got cleaned out on the upside there. Microsoft does pop, but now it looks like this is coming right back in. So I'm not sure what to expect here from Softy, but it definitely looks like it's trying to get back into the inside here. So we have a nice little long at the bottom, 289 and change. That's a name that we're looking at, and we're still trying to watch Lucid as that's trying to fade back in, it looks like here. Damn it, we took that 37 break. Good thing we got some out, but Lucid right now, a loser.
Yeah, and this is why I went over to the size on a firm. That was ridiculous on the offer. Basically free money to just jump in front of it. I've already taken half out, 53 quarters, and then in front of 53, and it's going to retest this level. It's down to about 100,000 shares. It looked like it was maybe 225,000, so it's been chopped in half. My entry's at 75 because there's a bit of a spread on the stock. At least there was at that time. So watch out. If it takes out 54, this could absolutely spike. But that order's holding it down for now.
Boom. Microsoft, yes, sir. Big time wins happening over here, guys. Lucid, unfortunately, big time hit. But right now, it's back to 37. So we'll wait to see where Lucid wants to go. But so far, so good here, guys. As we're going long on everything, it seems like here. Microsoft, $2 in the money. Lucid, long, trying to still take out that 37. We may just get out of this. I don't know what it wants to do. Tesla, quick check on Tesla right now as well. Wow, 9:15. Tesla's in the building. So anyone have diamond hands on that one? Thank you, Ms. V. We like that. Let's go. Yeah, let's go. Softy right now, $2 in the money. Let's take a drink of this and see where we go.
Yeah, and here comes the GameStop. So I said this time I was going to try and do the fade, do it the right way. So it's time to get going on GameStop. It broke 101 here, but the last time it was a pop and fade. It's starting to slow down a little bit. Highs at 103s. I'm going to take my first shot in here. The break happened on a firm, by the way. It broke that order, and it did not run. So it breaks 54 and can't even get going. If it can't go up after breaking a level like that, I got to find my way back into an affirm short. Like, that's kind of crazy. That monster offer got cracked and filled, and then it still couldn't make a reversal. Brendan?
Some of the travel names just popping up, guys, on volume. The cruise line starting things off here. We had CCL just tagged 19 off the open. We're right back above 19 and a quarter there. So some buying, some places so far.
Right. We were waiting. Yeah, it looks like AMC as well. Microsoft coming back down right now. AMC did make a move up. I thought I was going to try to short some more there in the 80s. I guess there we go. Now it's in the 70s, so we'll take another piece short. This one's going to run against us, so we'll watch out to see where this wants to go. We'll just start it. If we take out 17, we'll be gone out of this. We don't need this to keep going to the upside, but right now AMC, yep, cracking higher and higher and higher. Softy, we still have a 289 bid. This is going to be a #1 stock for me here today. We did trade some Ethereum off the open as that started to pop upside as well. But right now, Lucid 3707 is where we're stuck long. Try to average into this one, I think. AMD starting to fall a little bit as well. Peloton down, obviously. Oh no, Peloton up to $27 right now, which is a good one. We could check out Peloton, but I didn't really like this name today. There's too much news around it, so I don't know, man. Let's just continue to short this AMC and see what happens. Coinbase up to a nice level as well. That just ripped, Neil, up to 177. So this is a nice level. We have Coinbase back to 180 as a concern. So we'll short this one. We'll hold this until it gets to 180 for me on Coinbase. But that's a good short. This is on our sticky note. So let's defend it and see where we go with Coinbase.
Yeah, time to start thinking of it, like let things settle down a little bit. Is some consolidation happening right at that same 54 on a firm. So I'm back into it, but I'm not adding to it until I see it break away. Kohl's has managed to find a bit of a bid here at 61. I was looking to first test 60, but I'm looking at it now and the way it's holding up, I think 61 I might be willing to go in and just get some scalp trades going. The volume's pretty decent here on Kohl's, and I don't want to be missing the boat altogether. DWAC, which is another one that we wanted to get into off of the open, I'm going to cancel my offer here in front of 69. If it does, sorry, in front of 70. If it does make another pop, I'll look at the 69 area first before even thinking about that 70. But here comes the firm, and this is why I said don't add to it, because it didn't make sense to me that a firm would not have popped after that big size was in there. So this time, it looks like it is going to be testing that pre-market high. So I'm not taking anything else on the short side until I see a real test and a rollover off of this pre-market level here at 55.80 or so. The market is trying to bounce to the upside, so even a name like a firm can catch a bounce, as you're seeing here.
Yeah, wow, this is spicy, man. I mean, we're short Coinbase right now. We're short AMC. We're long Microsoft. And yeah, it looks like Microsoft was good to guess to get out of some of that up here. We've only been got out twice to the upside, but we still are holding this. It looks like Ethereum may be coming back down a little bit here. So we do have Coinbase, but we'll wait to see what exactly is happening. I don't have anything to really track. I mean, we have ETHE, but that's not really a good one for Ethereum. I mean, it's good, but it doesn't necessarily equate to what's happening right this second. Come on, let's go. That's the 1 daily. Let's check out the 1 minute here just to see, because I don't want to hold Coinbase. Oh man, these charts today, if this is going to start to go up. So this is Bitcoin, 34,000 right now, looking like it wants to try to retake that. So if it does, then yeah, our Coinbase is going to be in a little bit of trouble. So let's watch out for that. Did I just get hit on Lucid? What happened there? Lucid, okay, nice. 37.60, so that's a nice trade. So we're out of Lucid now as that just ripped up. We went long 37, just took it out at 37.56 there. We're looking at 37.50 area, so I guess for some reason my order was at 54, but that's a good trade. We'll see where that one goes. Maybe take out a piece of Microsoft. It's just bouncing a little bit too much.
Yeah, Tesla just came back to 900, pulling back in. GameStop tried to test the high there at 103, slid back into this 101 range, so that's starting to come back to the downside here. And that BTBD, like, forget about it. That's gonzo, by the way. That just absolutely tanked, so missed out on... Definitely missed the boat on this one, as it does roll all the way down to 340. So if it comes back, there's no way you want an offer in front of 450, because like that's $1 away. That's 25%. Like it would have to halt to get to that price if it got there too quick. So I want to cancel my order. If it retests that price, it's likely to halt it by then. Brendo?
Palantir, another one, guys. A few people mentioning Palantir having a bounce. There we go. Now my chart will work, and I can show you 13 here. Huge volume went off as we tried to get through 13 the first time for PLTR.
Ooh, okay, I like that. Yeah, we'll have to look at that. I mean, again, there's so many names that obviously I've missed here going in. So we'll have to see Palantir as well. We're really happy $1.50 now in the money on Microsoft. Let's check out Palantir. I mean, there's so many names ripping right now, you know, including like those ones we just talked about. Palantir, probably some of these other ones like a Peloton, some of these beat down names that have been getting killed. AMD's not really doing anything. Lucid's back down to 37 flat right now. Clover, Palantir, and not Peloton's at highs. Yeah, that's why I don't want to really trust
oh my goodness.
Peloton right now. But there goes Palantir just taking out 13 again to the upside.
Well, I can tell you right now, it just got spicy because Peloton right at the highs, right here at this 28 first level, and at the same time, I get DWAC right in front of like that, right at that 69 price area as well. So a couple of names spiking right into these tops here. Peloton still has that spike that we saw a little bit higher, 28.50 into 29 even. But like we said, you've got to have it out, I think, in every single one of these levels. A firm starting to get out of hand. Well, actually, no, it's still below 56. So I think that one is still within its bounds. I have a tighter stop here on Peloton for a short than I do on a firm. And then DWAC, I'm looking at that $70 range. That's definitely going to be the big one. Pfizer, which is the one I wanted to try to pick up to the long side, I think we can forget about 50 at least for now. 51.15 to 51.40 right in front of VWAP looks like a decent bounce spot on the pullback. That one just absolutely ran and continues to go. So I might have to chase this one a little bit. This is a long I wanted in front of 50. Now I'm going to take it long in front of 51. I'll take 2 shots at Pfizer. Keep missing my first target on GameStop there. It keeps getting down to 100 and bouncing off it. Next time I should take the buck.
Okay, let's just, we're doing the same thing here with AMC. Let's just take this profit as it's starting to roll over, and we got this one. So, yeah, let's go AMC. We're not going to have anything good, though, on Coinbase, as, crypto's starting to make a move back to the upside. So that's good. But let's just clock out some of our AMC here. We're out of half right now. We'll see if we can get out more. Actually, less than half. We'll see if we get some more on the bid right now through 44, 45. Yes, sir. A nice little one right there as we take the money out right now on AMC to the downside. That's rocking and rolling, guys. AMC continues to work right here. So let's keep watching this to the downside. It did just blow up a little bit there, so we're happy to take this profit here on AMC as now it's starting to retrace back. Take some more out here, guys. What's up, B?
I mentioned that TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor. Here's another one from that group just popping up on decent volume. So we broke 53 there on ON. To the downside through 53. We're trying to take that 53 back to the upside. So Semi's trying here, guys.
Right. And here comes starting to roll over Peloton, gets off that 28 level. Now you're seeing it start to accelerate down, which is weird because I just saw the market again spike to the upside, or at least attempt to spike to the upside. So I will take some profit here. And I'll show you what's going on in GameStop because this is a weird one. It just keeps on coming right back in and barcoding off this 150 level. I'm going to take some off just so I can get some more shares in front of 103 because look what's happening up top at 103. You have 3 or 4 times it's tested that level. So I want to make sure I'm banking some of this. So that I have the opportunity to just keep on loading up in front of that level. DWAC is starting to roll over a little bit here as, basically the same chart. I mean, DWAC getting back to that 68 level, actually breaking now at 67.50 on the bid. I'm going to try to get some out in front of the bid. This was barcoding 67.50 to 67.60 and is now starting to come back to the downside. So playing the patience game has worked so far, but I'll tell you right now, the spreads on some of these names, I just got filled at 67.50.
That's nuts.
It was just printing 68s 2 seconds later. That's crazy. The spreads on these are absolutely huge. The only long I got right now is Pfizer, and I'm kicking myself for maybe not trading a little bit more of Kohl's, but Pfizer bouncing off VWAP here. I'm going to try scalping this one out because if the market rolls over again and these shorts start working, it could just turn into another morning of take your profits on your longs when you get them and hold on to your shorts. And I wish it wasn't looking like another day like that, but right now it's like everything I got at the top is rolling over, looks scary, and is now starting to fall. So I'm going to take some profit on Pfizer, even if it's only 25 cents for the first leg. Brendan?
The Shift Pixie popping back up this morning. Had some NFT-related news this morning, so it just took out that pre-market high back to 35% for Pixie.
Yeah, I was just, shoot, man. We took out some Coinbase. I was just trying to watch it. The spreads here on Coinbase is crazy. It's like $1.
These spreads are crazy.
When it starts to move up. So we will take another piece out if we get back down to 177. I mean, it's just, right now it's actually fine. It was 20 cents there on Coinbase, but we'll have to wait to see. I got to take some of this out. This has been by far, obviously, the worst position that I've had here. So I can't be too happy with Coinbase right now. But I don't know. I don't get it. The crypto is falling. The market is falling a little bit here. So to me, Coinbase should also be falling, but it's not. So not a good one right here. But Microsoft's really worked off some of those levels that we identified for you. So for me, for Microsoft, it's been an absolutely fantastic trade. We went long. I mean, we've got nothing out even from our first trade there below that. So we were able to take that off. We said there'd be an early flush. We knew the name we wanted to go over, and Microsoft right now, my number one stock by far today is going to be Softy. Although AMC right now, back down into these 40 levels, this is perfect, man. man. Like, we're pretty happy with this. We'll see. These are our dark pool prints, so we didn't come down here to 1620. But if it does, like right now, let's put a bid in the 30s here if we can get hit. There it is, 34, so we're out on that one. Hopefully this can continue to crash down for us as everything right now working out pretty nicely. Come on, man, we're sitting at 177 and change here. We're actually at 177.12 right there. It just bounced off us. 177.12 is where we're at. So let's put another bid in here. We need to take some out. This is too volatile right now. Coinbase, I don't understand it. It should be going down further. There it is. Yes, sir, 177.12. Money spitting out. Let's go.
Yeah, speaking of that, I just got a leg out at 53.5 on a firm. Their last entry was up at 55, so it does test. And you got to be patient. Like the first short was off that monster seller on the offer. Then we rolled in front of that 56 level. Now getting a couple of dollars on that trade. DWAC is starting to roll over here. Digital World Acquisition. We got the top at 69. It's now 66 on the bid. I want to try to hold through the low of the day on this. And GameStop as well. Rolling to the downside, it just got to $99 even, short here at 101.50. If it takes out, look, if GameStop takes out 98, I think we could be headed down to at least this 95, 96 area from Friday on your 15-minute chart. So these are starting to work in, and I'm glad I took some shares off of even the name I liked to the long side, which was Pfizer. It's right back into VWAP. So it only gave you like 25 pennies. It comes there again. I might take the scalp trade of 20 to 25 cents again on the long because guess what? We're cracking the lows again.
We've got lows. We've got lows. Yeah, in different area codes. But right now, unfortunately, here comes Tesla. Just ripped right through our 885 level there. So yeah, about that. Might not be good here. But look at Coinbase, man. Let's take some out on Tesla as we just got an average price there. So we'll take some out if we can. As Coinbase right now, guys, $2 and plus now in the money on Coinbase. As this continues to cash out for us, we're just killing it today here. Unfortunately, Tesla, though, kind of slipped into this trade. Wasn't even really paying attention. We did have an 885 bid, so watch out for 880 breaking. We don't need to hold this through that. So a little bit of a nervous time here for me on Tesla as the market's cranking lower, and so is this big monster here. As Tesla was already at 910, now trying to make some new lows. I don't want to hold this name, especially if the market's coming to the downside. So we got to take some pressure off here on Tesla, guys.
Yeah, we'll do this one. I mean, it's I don't know. Like some days it's like, we short all the time, but some days you don't feel as much fun with some of these levels coming back in there. Don't get me wrong, like it profits are profit. I just took more out in front of the low of the day on a firm. GameStop did break the bottom here at 98. It's trying to churn through, but I can tell you again, the spread, 50 pennies. It breaks the low. The offer is still up here at 98.50 when this took out the low at $98. So look, I'm holding on to the last of these shares. I think it has a chance to go, but there's the one short that is actually breaking the top. So, I mean, like a firm is still deep in the money, DWAC and GameStop deep in the money, but we get the scalp on Peloton. Of all things, Peloton just broke that 28 level to the upside. So when I hang on to the other three, it's Peloton running, and there are some key levels. This bad boy gets back up to 29, and that could be big. Brendo?
I was just going to mention that Peloton as well, guys, had some volume coming in there around that pre-market high, which was a big level back on Friday as well.
Okay, so we're pretty huge right now as Tesla's starting to run upside right now. It just bounced off that 880-ish area, 888 area there. So that's a level of concern for me, maybe 890. I was kind of looking at some of these levels here, 890 flat maybe. I mean, it's got to go there now. Who knows if we're going to get there, but it was $4 or $5 in the money there. We should have took it out, but we'll wait to see now where it goes. Here it comes right back down. It's going to crack through 880, man. We're going to be gone on that one. Oh, we should have took that out, but we didn't. So we'll watch out for this one now. It's going to break through 880. We'll be gone shortly after that one. But look at this money that we had today. Coinbase, guys, $3 in the money, right? I can't believe that we were able to hold this one all the way. That was very, very close to tipping us out up there. Softy, we're going to reload this one if it comes back down to 289.50. Looks like that is going to happen. And we don't want, we've been doing so well here today that I should have probably cashed out of some of these longs. We did cash out of, oopsies. We did cash out of our, I just got a weird blotter message, so watch out there. I did cash out of Softy, but there goes Tesla, sorry, to the downside. 878 just broke, so yeah. We did start off well on Tesla, but there it is, dumped to the downside. So let's look to reload. AMC and Coinbase right now, multiple dollars in the money on Coinbase, $1 in the money on AMC, and $1 in the money long on Softy, trying to get some more down there. But yeah, Tesla flushing, guys.
Yeah, this market coming back in, and look, I said I would try to hold on some of these. I'm holding on to Affirm and holding on to GameStop a little bit here, but if I'm going to get the pop and drop, 69 to 65 on DWAC. Like this one's getting absolutely shredded here today. But if you look at the 15-minute, I can't ignore what that 65 level looked like back here. And we did think there was a chance that, you could hold up, maybe check up and catch a bounce on DWAC, and then the next level down might be 60 to 62. So taking the profit on DWAC, going over to GameStop just to review this one. If I get another entry in Pfizer off VWAP, I'll let you guys know, but I'm not really looking to bid at GameStop. I'm now sitting in front of that 95 level. I'm looking to capture this, just thinking if it can go even a fraction of what it did last time. Already rectified the mistake that we made. And the mistake that we made on Friday, and I tweeted this out saying I was embarrassed by the fact that I took the breakdown trade and didn't give it room. Today it was get the pop, get a better price on GameStop, and then I can still scalp some out and then try to hold the rest. But at least I will have gotten a better entry point. And oh my goodness, I completely forgot about Lucid. This is the one that
shoot.
I was in and out of Lucid so fast, and it's still it's right back at my entry point, but it's still holding the top end of this range above that 36. So some relative strength in Lucid as well. Not just I think I said Peloton was breaking up, but Lucid holding the top end of its range a little bit here. So Affirm, GameStop looking pretty solid. I still got some Pfizer. I meant to check in on SoFi below 13 even. It bounced off 12.50 exactly. So every 50 pennies on SoFi just seems pretty good. So 13 even, 12.50 even. If it breaks this, I'm going to scalp a short and maybe just try to get in and out off a 12.50 break, although SoFi is SSR, I do believe.
Should be, I think.
It's from Friday, right? I think it is.
Should be. Okay, so we have some nice wins on board here. I was debating getting this out at 172.50 here on Coinbase for $5-6 on this trade. So I think this is probably one that we could take. Although crypto right now is not really doing a whole hell of a lot, Coinbase has definitely pulled back off of some of those levels. So we have $4 now in the money. We could take this off the bid right now, but we'll see if it wants to tank a little bit lower here. AMC definitely cracking, man. We had that on the sticky note, so we're going to go Superman on that one. The only thing that we messed up on our sticky note, looks like, is going to be Tesla, and it's our only real loser today, as that's now down to 870 right now, Tesla. Yeah, we were able to take some winner, and then we had a nice winner for us, and then it just tanked even more. So we'll wait to see where that goes. Maybe I'll get out of this Coinbase if it does take out this 173. It's starting to sort of capitulate now to the downside here. We'll see if it gets going, because I'm not really seeing much happening in crypto land right now. So that's sort of leading me to see that maybe this Coinbase, although we did have that nice run up to 34, we talked about that. This is still a minute chart. I don't know. It's not really printing too much. 33,630 right now on the downside. So, yep, I think this makes sense here. Let's see if it wants to push one more. We'll sit on the bid, see if we could take $5 or so. But it's bouncing off 173, which is some of this pre-market area. Maybe we even get a much more of a tank here. Let's cancel this. Cancel it. Off the bid right now. $5 in the money on Coinbase. Let's see where we go. And let's worry about our Microsoft position that's come all the way back in.
Yeah, this market, again, cracking the bottom. Now, I said I would take a scalp trade on SoFi. It breaks at 50, and just immediately there's a buyer at 45. I'm talking like instantaneously, so I'm not going to completely ignore the fact that I always want to get in and out if it's a breakdown trade of something. So I did take a quick third out there, and when it got to like 43, 44, I'm going to try and hold on to the rest of this trade here on SoFi. But now we're starting to accelerate to the downside. We're retesting the low on Affirm. I'm now holding through a 53 bottom on Affirm. If the bottom drops on this, we just broke 4,300 on the ES. You got to know the name that you like to hold on to the short with, and I just think Affirm could be headed to $50 at some point. And I didn't necessarily think that some point was today, but if you got a top, you might as well hang on to it. I think that's kind of the theme we're looking at. And speaking of the market cracking down, I had to take another leg out here on Pfizer. It bounced nicely off VWAP. I liked it long, but it's not going anywhere right now. Ignore these wicks up here. Those are dark pool prints to 52. It cannot break past 51.75. So twice I've had to scalp some out for about 25 pennies. Winners are winners, but the long side, you take your profit on the long. You can hold on to some shorts with the market accelerating downside, but if you got a long that's working, you might want to take some off.
Yeah, $6 in the money right now for Coinbase. Obviously, wish we still had that one. And Softy did exactly that, man. Our one of the only stocks that we were long with a win today is Microsoft. It comes up and we get out at 290. So a good trade there for Softy. My number one stock today is going to be Coinbase, but Microsoft not far behind it as well, as we destroyed Microsoft today. So Coinbase bouncing around a little bit here. What's up?
Oh, never mind. No, I was about to be like, why is
174.
Silvergate at $88? Like, I thought that would be at like 82.
Yeah, I don't know, but Coinbase definitely going to the downside. We can look at Silvergate as well. A nice little bounce though off 172. Let's put a bid down here at 172, just in case this market does rally. I think we got enough out of this trade, guys. $5 on Coinbase.
Yeah, I'm starting to get the same feels for what's now slowing down a little bit here, and that's GameStop. It's bounced right down to 96.5. At least a couple of times this test. I have my 15-minute chart up just so we can get a better look because the ranges are so big that I think looking at a higher time frame makes some sense. If it can't break any lower than this 96 area, taking the profit and running is going to make a heck of a lot of sense. And I got the same feeling with Affirm. Like it just now broke low of the day. Come on. It just now broke low of the day at 53 on Affirm, and it seems like it's trying to check up. Again, the spread opens up. The offer doesn't really come below 53 very much. The bid does drop, but the offer doesn't really follow. So if this bounces, we might be needing to take some profit out here. So it's been my, I guess, number 2 because GameStop's been pretty big. And then SoFi, I said this would be more of a scalp trade because we don't have a good entry. Everything else I was short off the top. SoFi, we're just simply taking a break at 1250 to the downside. So I am going to scalp that out, take the profit almost right away. I still have a little bit. I'm not giving this even anything. I'm giving it back to like a 1255 because if things turn around from these lows and you're short at the bottom, I keep saying it every single time, you don't want to get trapped at the bottom. If you got a great price, you can hold on to some profit. But once again, the shorts win this morning. Brendo.
A few things looking like they're trying to put in a bottom. Speaking of a bottom, Sean, you mentioned Chewy this morning randomly, just popping up on volume here through day highs. So a few things starting to head back to the upside, guys.
Yeah, it wasn't too random. It was just more like, yeah, some of these stocks getting absolutely killed there. And I noticed Chewy sort of capitulating there at the end of the day there, or at the end of the day on Friday, and then today just getting killed. All right, so Coinbase, there it is, man. We walk on water with this trade as we're out of that one. Good trade for me, obviously. Just went down to the downside there, and we were like, okay, enough's enough. We took it out at 174. We should have taken 172s, but that's a $5 winner at 174. So I think that we're pretty happy with that one. 35, what is the low here on Lucid? We're just trying to pick up some bottoms here maybe on a name. I mean, can it go back up to the upside? We'll see. Lucid, this bottom here, 35.75. Into some of these pre-market levels. So I think that's good for me. I'm going to see if we can hold that 35.75 area on Lucid. If not, then that will be out of that name. So right now we're long Lucid 14s. Let's see if it wants to continue to make some moves to the upside here. LCID right now trying to go, guys.
Yeah, like I said, we're going to be in and we're going to be out very quickly in SoFi. So break even out basically on the 50 break. Going to take it very, very quickly. You can hang on to other things, but not that one. I'm now looking, if we're catching a bounce, I'm looking for where I can reload in Pfizer. Obviously, we're right back towards that VWAP here. I got 51.40 last time, so it feels like a pretty solid price. I might try to double tap that. And just as you're noting, the market's starting to bounce back to the upside. I don't know if you checked in on the chip space, Sean, but NVIDIA... There we go. Yeah, NVIDIA bouncing off of 220. Apologies for these dark pool wicks. They're all over the place this morning with late reporting prints. But bouncing off of 220 and rallying a couple of dollars here, that's a pretty key level, it looks like, for NVIDIA.
Okay, so we are getting a little bit of a rally now in Lucid, so that's starting to go to the upside. We're sitting here at 38s. At 41s, actually, which is a mistake because there is some size there. So we'll get off that at 40. Oh, we just should have noticed that. Oh, man, darn it. We could have scalped out there for sure. Long 13s. There was some size at 40. We got out at 35 and then noticed the size there afterwards. So on a move upside right now, we got to watch out for that. What's Coinbase doing? Okay, still the same. Where's Tesla right now? 877. So Tesla does find a bottom at 850 again. So we were... no real bottoms there. We were concerned with a little bit of a trade in there. We did lose on it because it does break, but still damage limited there with that name trying to go as well. So I don't know, man. Ford with a nice move upside today for sure. Now it's come back. Okay, so I noticed Ford at $20 comes right back into 1950. This is a long on Ford for me. So there goes Lucid. There it is, Lucid. So take some profit, then get out of the rest. So that's not a winning trade for me there because we definitely didn't get out of enough there. The market's still cranking lower. The only short we have on, the only position we have on right now is AMC as Lucid. Wow, yeah, taking out the bottoms in Coinbase. Still okay. What's up, Ren?
Another one trying to roll over here, guys. Mara, Riot, all of the crypto names as well. 8.5% here for Mara. Just had a huge volume alert in front of 20. So a heads up at 20 there for MARA.
Yeah, it's just, so we're now testing the lows of the day again on GameStop. I've given up on Pfizer, so that long, it did work, and I'm still going to be up on Pfizer, but I tried reloading around VWAP, and then that's going to stop me out. So I'm just, it's like a broken record from last week, right? Like I'm sitting in GameStop, and I have scalped some out, but it cannot break this 96.5 level, and I'm thinking, okay, well, Affirm, I always like shorting in Affirm. GameStop, if you look at what happened on Friday, you know, like when it caught a bottom, this thing didn't just rally. It went $17 bottom to top. So if there's a reason why I want to bank the $4 on GameStop and then say, okay, I can hang on to Affirm for a little bit more, that's going to be it. And so I'm just going to get out of GameStop. We're going to bank the $4, be pretty happy that I came in and was thinking, you know, along the lines of if there was one mistake I wanted to learn from, it was getting a good entry point. I don't know why I hit disco ball there, but I was going to hit the floss, hit the disco ball. Anyways, if it was one mistake I was going to learn from was when you have something like a GameStop sliding, I got to be able to give it room and hold on to it. I think that was mission accomplished today, and all I'm going to be left in is a firm short. So, you know, this is the one that we're a little bit more active in. There was that monster seller at Affirm in front of $54. I end up getting out, accidentally reversing to a long, covering that, and then just jumping back into the short. Last entry at 55.5. This holds a low. I think it could be headed to $50 even, which it sounds crazy, but hey, you look at your daily charts, pull back to crazy levels, and then anticipate that the weakest stocks can go there. I feel like that's a pretty solid way to be approaching things. I keep forgetting to jump back over to some of the retail names. Macy's, which was on our radar, because the Kohl's news is bounced all the way back, all the way back downside to 24 even. If you look at this, 24 to 25 has now happened twice. If this comes back up to the 25 level, I am definitely fading Macy's. Hopefully it gives you a third shot, but look at how gorgeous that is. It goes right to the pre-market high, fail break at 25 even, then gives you a clean dollar on a $25 stock. That's the kind of opportunity you're getting if you're shorting the pops today.
Yeah, and short the pops is not a horrible problem, but SoFi, I should have shorted the pop here, as we took a shot at this trying to go through 50. So we'll still see if that's going to cash out for us, but right now it does not look like that. We'll see if SoFi does retest some of these bottoms, but I just thought there, trying to get some acceleration here. The NASDAQ obviously continuing to puke to the downside as we have the triple Qs. Maybe we'll zoom in a little bit more here on the Qs, as I don't know if that's what's going to lead this or not, but SoFi coming right back up there, guys. We'll take some out here, as I might have been wrong on this call. So let's see. Take some back out to SoFi long 1250. Starting to accelerate to the upside. We always take some out 1250. I was going to say 1255 maybe there on the upside, but not there it goes. Yes, sir. 56, 57, 58, 59. Okay, good trading here on SoFi. Hopefully that'll print out for us. But right now, so far so good here on SoFi. Long 50s. Maybe that's the one that will rally back up to the upside.
Yeah, and of course, look at Lucid now. Lucid right back at 54. It does end up capitulating eventually. It just took some time, but it's bounced off 35 even. So if it's going to catch a bid here, oh goodness, like this is a risk to reward type of thing. If you can get 35 quarters or so, and I'm risking only about 25 pennies in slippage, maybe even a little bit more than that on something like a Lucid when it's held up a range. You just had Tesla bounce $15 again, this time off 860 instead of 850. So if I get a shot here, and I'm really, and the low is 35.08, but I think you give it to 35. Forget about VWAP. It could get like to this hump here at 36, and your risk to reward is fantastic. It's 1-to-1 basically right here. So as I'm saying it, I got 35, 31 long, and immediately you're able to get like 40. Like, this is pretty crazy. Like, we just saw in Macy's, like, it just goes back and forth, that dollar. Spreads are still, we're at 10 o'clock. 10 o'clock, and I'm still seeing spreads on stocks that I'm used to seeing at 9:30 and 9:31. That's why I like this Lucid off the bottom here. Now if it goes to 36 or VWAP, I'm just jamming out of it, taking the 60 or 70 cents up at the top here. The risk to reward was there the entire time. I wish I had seen this on Macy's at the high, but Lucid was just right down here bouncing off of 35 when Tesla had already made its move.
Yeah, Tesla's nasty. We're still going to watch SoFi here, hopefully to the upside. We got SoFi long and AMC short. That's about it. Peloton, no surprise today, up 7%. We knew on that on activist deals there, trying to take over that company and see if they get new management and whatnot with Peloton here today. So we'll take a look at all these right now when we get back, though, at 291. Okay, so Microsoft does hold that 289 one more time and starting to go upside right here. So, yep, it's good so far, so good today. We're positive, which is nice to say on a day like this, but we'll go over to Brendan and see what he's trading. Or no, sorry, what's on the big board, what's happening now.
Hey guys, yeah, busy morning. Let's have a look at some negative numbers here. Big time negativity. 2% now for the S&P to the downside. The Dow 1.83%, officially the longest losing streak now for the Dow since the beginning of the pandemic, February of 2020. All of the Russells to the downside, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. NASDAQ Composite and 100, 2 full percent to the downside as well. Very similar here in Toronto, 2.2% for the TSX. A couple of things quickly that we were talking about in the pre-market here. I wanted to mention Pfizer. There was a couple of positive notes on their, not only their pill, their antiviral pill, but the EU talking about that and the vaccine as well. Some more data coming out on Omicron. So back to 51 here after a decent move back to the upside for Pfizer. We'll shift over one more time here and talk about Microsoft, because not much of a bounce yet for some of these big tech names below these levels we were mentioning in the pre-market, guys. This brought to you by BitGet, the top crypto copy trading platform. Sign up now, earn $158 in rewards, guys. Check out BitGet.
Yes, sir. And I just want to, I don't know if we talked about this EFX, Enerflex and Xterran deal here, but it's an all-stock transaction between EFX here, which trades in Toronto. And if you're watching EXTN, this is EFX. If you're an EXTN shareholder, you're getting shares of this company here. This is what happened at the open on the stock. It just dropped. So if you're looking as to why EXTN made this move here right at the open, it's simply because you need to be tracking Enerflex. I think only trades in Toronto, EFX. If it's dual listed, I'm not aware of it, but certainly make sure you are tracking both of these. It is a stock deal, and that's the entire reason for the flush, and it's the reason why it wasn't an auto small cap for me to be trading because of the nature of that deal. The only thing I'm left into the short side, of course, is Affirm. There it is. It just broke the low of the day again.
So everything. Snapchat, $29.
Why didn't we short? Yeah, Snapchat. That's another one we're looking at the short. But again, like there's just all the shorts worked out today. I think all you had to do was take profits on your longs when you got the good bounces. Speaking of which, I got profit on the first leg of the Lucid, and that might be it. Might lose on the second half here. Miss V, what do you got?
Hey guys, we've got a super chat from the trader Sam sending us a sticker, the #1 fan. Thank you so much, Sam. I hope you're having a great, profitable day. And guys, if you just joined us, I remind you, please don't forget to like this video, as we have 7,700 viewers, and it would be really nice if we push like account to 3,000 by the end of the show today. Back to you guys.
Yeah, and
there goes Lucid.
Yeah, there goes Lucid, and we'll beat up also SoFi as that's taking down the lows as well right now. I guess we should not have got out of our Coinbase, as that's down to 170. We got out at 174 there on the break as it's starting to crash lower. AMC is the only position we have on right now, man. I mean, I'm trying to find, I wanted to go long AMD, but it's not taking out any levels. Like, it's just coming to the downside. I was looking at this level right here, 112.60, but there's really no love here. I mean, oh, darn it, we have that bad wick. Actually, looking at an AMD chart on a daily is not going to do anything for us. Maybe a 20-minute, see if we can have it. There's nothing here. So it's just clear sailings to the downside right now on many of these names. So for right now, it's a nasty little day out there. Let's go back over to Microsoft. The only long that's actually worked for us. Microsoft's still holding out. So at least this name is holding. Wow, do you see Rivian? $56 right now for Rivian. 56. Intel, 51 right now after being at 55 all last week. I thought that was a good, pretty safe name. It is in comparison to these other ones, but the market just keeps on cracking lower and lower and lower.
No one's safe today.
No one's safe this couple weeks, it seems like. Palantir down to 12.50, trying to make new lows as well. Yeah, I don't know, man. Netflix, a name that reported last week and kind of didn't start all of this, but didn't help it for sure. Down to 365 right now. So yeah, market's getting cracked, guys. Please hit the like button. Let's see if we can get to 3,000 likes for sure. XLE, the energy down today as well.
You know
down
what's different
4%.
today? You know what's different today? My quote board.
Yeah.
Procter and Pepsi, they're only down like 1.25%, but usually they've been holding up. Walmart down 1%, Eli Lilly down. Like everything that's positive on my quote board is either getting bought out. Peloton, which is a different story, it's a Unilever, and then it's like it's Nordstrom's and Macy's. And even those, like Nordstrom's is 2%, Macy's is 5%. Those were up even more. So everything's seeming like it's falling here today. And if I'm going to turn red on a stock, of course it's going to be trying to reverse into the short on Lucid. So we took the long on Lucid. We scalped some profit out. Well, we already lost on Lucid the first time short through, but I had made it back going long, and then now reversed into a short through the low of the day on Lucid. I got slipped to 34.91 because spreads are crazy this morning. Actually, that's not really too bad. I'm going to give this to the quarter mark. Like I said, don't want to be trapped at the bottom. This is not the sort I want to die on. The firm continues to fall lower. I just can't see. I'm not saying, unless the market does something spectacular, I don't see why this can't be a hold for the rest of the day. But Lucid might not be. A firm, yes. Lucid, no. Like, that's going to continue to be like a scalp trade until it isn't. If I had gotten the top on Lucid, it'd be a different story, but I wasn't even close to grabbing the top on LCID. DWAC I got out of a while ago at 65. I was trying to get back in here, back at 69, getting real picky about it. It rolled over at 68. So there might be a chance to get back into this at a lower high, but for now I want to remain picky. We got pretty good about getting top to bottom on DWAC, so I don't want to throw away the profit chasing things here a little bit too far away from key prices.
Yeah, we are chasing Microsoft to the downside because we're trying to get long. So let's see what happens. Well, not trying. You can get long right now no matter what. As the NASDAQ, and we're looking at the triple Qs here, starting to take out the day's low again, man. I said, like, maybe you start buying when the NASDAQ's down 2.5%. Maybe that's what's happening right now. So let's wait to see if you want to pick something up on the downside. I think that makes some sense right here. But the Qs still down that 2.5%. Like, 3% is huge for the NASDAQ. So we'll see if this is going to, Microsoft's now starting to go. I thought Microsoft was one of the ones that was holding up as we were barcoding. But yeah, no, not trying to hold up anymore as it's starting to now get cracked lower and lower and lower softies. So AMC is a short right now. SoFi's testing 12 here as we speak. So wow, like how low is SoFi going to go? What is DraftKings like at $8 yet? 18, that was kind of a joke, but $18, wow. Some of these names, guys, see it gone. Just wish we would have obviously held on to our Coinbase. What's up, Brendo?
A little one we were talking about back on Friday, guys. PinTech, PinTech Technology Holdings back higher now. We got through $1 back on Friday on huge volume. This thing ran into the close, remember, while the market was selling off pretty hard. So volume coming back in here too. PT.
Yeah, the market just took another like leg to the downside here. Well, my NASDAQ chart looking pretty ugly there. I don't know why I'm losing data on it, but there's a monster break overall in the market. That's kind of crazy. Like you just see here, breaking 43, and now we're down to 42.5 on the ES. So crazy move down. Apologies for my NASDAQ chart not looking good. I just got into Kohl's, like in and out. I mean, to be honest, I actually didn't like. Not that I didn't remember, but I was sitting on the bid in front of 61 on Kohl's, like just trying to scalp this trade. I'll get in, I'll get out if it breaks 61, think it can bounce here. Like, look, these are like overlapping. I got the long and was out of it almost instantly because I got filled on that spike down in the futures there, that's not the way you want to catch a fill when you're trying to range trade a buyout that looks like it wants to follow the market. I said Lucid, like, that was going to be like the short of the bottom was going to be bad. But then I might be getting bailed out by load. Might be getting bailed out here by the market flushing again. That looked like it was about to catch a bid and then just ramp right back into the upside. Instead, it's right back at these lows where I should be thinking about scalping something out because there is a buyer at 75. So if I can get some more out of Lucid, that would actually allow me to get back in at like a 35.10 or something like that in front of 35.25. Of course, when that happened, that simply meant that a firm continued to just flush. So, I mean, 50, like I'm starting to think about, am I getting this out at $50? I mean, I think so. I think it's still going to be the truth.
$50? I haven't even
51. But
still,
like this is like, it's a short till it's not. And what's my indication that it's not? I bet you I'm going to look at a lot of names today and just see missed opportunities. But you know what? I think the good thing that happened here today is we sort of focused and drilled down on a few names that worked out. Your AMC and GameStop definitely worked. You're focused on some Coinbase, on some Affirm, and some DWAC in there. SoFi gave you some opportunities. You can't be everywhere at once, but it just felt like, you know what, if you were today, it would have worked out anyways because like you shorted everything, who cares? But if it reversed on you, you also got screwed. So narrowing down on a couple of names, I think was the way to go here today. And just speaking of that last market flush, Apple, by the way, has still bounced off that 158.
Right.
So that 158 level on Apple, it feels like that's like the last man standing. Like I almost should be long this, because that's the last. It just bounced $1 here, but that is easily the last level standing. If that can hold, maybe that'll spur in a bit of a turnaround. We'll see.
I mean, I'm doing the same thing as what you were just mentioning there. We went long Microsoft there, but it's still against us like 70 cents. So we'll take some relief as it comes back upside here through 289, but that cracked down to 287 there. And I just feel like there's really no bounce. I mean, this market's not really bouncing. We seem to think that it wants to bounce, but does it really? I mean, this is a little bit of a move back upside, but you can see Softy not really bouncing at all down there. And I was about to go over, and I mean, I want to buy Softy because I just feel like it's stronger than the rest, but it's definitely not coming into play here. Apple would be a name. Yeah, that's still down 2 and a bit. Neil just talked about that. Wow. Palantir was a name that maybe I was going to defend this 1250. Good thing we didn't, as that cracked lower and lower and lower as well. So right now, yeah, we'll have to wait to see what happens. But we're short on AMC, which is great. That's been working all day. I don't really have too much to complain about. I guess we didn't get all the way back to 1620 there, but we'll see what's going to work. NVIDIA, I tried to. Again, like I'm just sitting in Softy, and I don't want to just be long everything, but like that NVIDIA long down there at 215 seems mighty good, man. But I don't know. It's just, we got to look at some shorts. I mean, I hate Snapchat. I've been hating on that for a while. Go ahead.
No, it's like got to look at some shorts, and then I find myself just getting long. General Motors in front of $50. GM is at 50. It got to $49.95. Like that sounds like, I mean, that sounds like an infomercial, really. So it breaks 50, gets to $49.95, bounces back, so putting in a higher low. So this is about as simple as it gets. I'm long in front of the low. If it can bounce here, it's support on the daily. Like we start talking about some of these things. It's like, oh yeah, you know, if we get to $50 this week, like that could be pretty interesting. And then we're there at 10:15 in the morning, right? Like 45 minutes into the open, and you're already bouncing off of 50 in GM. And trying to hold high here. So look, $49.95, it's an obvious stop. If it retakes the low of the day, I am out of this thing. I might try to add to it if I can get a price closer to 50 even, because I had to pay up to 28s here. By the time I even noticed it had gotten to that price. So things are happening pretty rapid. I think you want to pick your spots. I'm trying to be diligent with the longs. Pfizer worked, but again, I had to take 2 swings at it. I had to scalp it out. I want something that if we can't catch a real bounce here, I can actually hold on to, and GM feels at least a little bit safe. I mean, if this bounces just to where we were in the pre-market, you get $1.50 on General Motors, and it would still be down on the day, 2.5%. Like, that's not even that big of a bounce, and like, it's just because it's down 5%. That's crazy.
No, I'm. Hey, this has been nuts so far today. Needless to say, this is getting ramped up even worse now. As Microsoft going to the downside even harder right now. So this is not going to be a good one for us. We also did look. You just mentioned GM. It's funny because I was just looking at Ford. And it's not doing anything. It's going to the downside, down 6.5%. Was down about almost 7% down here at 1920. I was actually looking to see if we took out this 1945 area, which we just tested. I'm thinking that that's probably a decent long if it wants to go back up to the upside. At some point, these higher quality names probably are going to get bought. So not bought out, but bought to the upside. So 1945, I think, is worth it there to the upside as Softy just breaks through. We don't get out of it all, but it does take out that 187.50. So out of a little bit there on a rebound, but now Microsoft continues its drive to the downside there. So this is not going to work. Where's Tesla? 870. It's funny because Microsoft's really the one that's getting killed here. The name that I chose, like down 3% and escalating, although the market now down 2.8. This continues to fall, man. There's really nowhere to hide. SoFi is at 12. You could maybe take a shot there if you wanted to get some longs. But for right now, yeah, it's pretty nasty. What is that SoFi bid looking like? It's not that big, 200,000 shares at 12. So if you want to step into something, maybe it's SoFi. But unless this market bounces, it doesn't look like there's any love here at all. So yeah, Netflix 360, Tesla, SoFi 12, Robinhood 11 for $11 for Robinhood. Can you guys believe that? I mean, I guess we can believe it.
We can believe it.
But wow, Hood down to the downside. That's getting cracked as well. This is just
honestly, like, it's one of those situations. Like this, I'm not even mad at myself today over GameStop. Like it's now down at $94, so clearly we could have held on to it. I picked my poison and decided it was going to be a firm that I held on to. But things are getting crazy to the downside. I've only got, like, the only thing I'm in long, I'm trying to keep it to a couple of names here, is General Motors. And I'm looking back to some of those retail names, specifically at Macy's. Like, it's trying to bounce off that 24. It broke the 24 low, came right back, got to VWAP and tried to roll over. So I was hunting this one thinking it could get back up to 25. It doesn't even seem like it has the juice to get there. So we might have missed an opportunity on Macy's off of that 25 level. Might have to hunt at least a little bit lower than that. If you're looking, yeah, if you're looking at some of those, there were some small caps that were trading, so I don't want to completely ignore them. One of them was this NRBO, which is gorgeous. Like a lot of times, I would have been short this NRBO, like right here, like $1.20 and just holding it down to $1. But as you can see, there was just so many other names to be had today that I didn't even dabble in the small caps. I never even, that BTBD, like, my goodness, that was good to the downside, but they didn't even touch it. I have one trade in the pre-market, a quick in and out, and then that's pretty much it. You just had to, it was just all about the bigger cap names here today. And speaking of the last one, well, I don't want to say the last one. That 158 level. So I'm long in General Motors here in front of that 49.95. And here comes 158 on Apple. So I said this would be the other one that we wanted to try. It's gotten to 158.33. It hasn't really tested the evens. It feels like that's almost inevitable at this point that Apple is going to be testing 158 even. But you know what? This is the current low of the day here in front of the 30s. I'll see if I can't snag into it. If it bounces a little bit lower and bounces off 158, I would add. But I want to see it test the actual even dollar level on Apple. So I got now 2 longs, but you know, Apple 158, that's one I just almost have to try this one.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. There's just so low right now. Like I'm trying Microsoft. I feel like this is so low for Softy, but it just keeps on going low, 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 low. So, excuse me, yeah, not working out here. Tesla is staying high, which I don't understand that one. So normally this would be me looking for longs now, but not today, I guess. Tesla right now still keeping it real on the high side. Thank God we still have this AMC that is now near crazy lows. 1550 now for AMC. So wow, this name just keeps on going here. SoFi cracks 12, that is for sure. And unless you're short right now, it's going to be hard to make some kind of cash. Maybe Nvidia is kind of hovering around some of these bottoms, but the NASDAQ now down 3.1%. Like, isn't there limits here on the NASDAQ as well? Down 3%. Index has limits. ARC is getting destroyed, down to $66 right now. Palantir getting hammered. Like, I don't know what's going on right now. Palantir down to 12. Is there size there? A little bit. But, I mean, are we going to defend this level? I mean, where do we stop, man? We tried Palantir or SoFi at 12. That didn't work, and now it looks like the same thing's happening for Palantir. I'm going to put a bid here, see if it holds. But other than that, man, this is crank city right now. Hopefully, Brendan can talk some good news about a small cap over there. It's small cap recap time.
Yeah, that was it.
Hey guys, yeah, busy morning. Let's have a look at this BTBD. I mentioned just before the open here, I was looking at 450, which if you go to the daily chart is this consolidation on the daily chart, and then the very, very high is 525. So we came down off of the gap higher and sat on that 525 for quite some time before it broke and then broke again. So I just took a retest of that 450 area versus that higher 525. Was tough if you didn't have that early. There was a quick test of 4 right at the open, but then it just flushed $1 as soon as the market opened, straight down to 3. Looks like it's going to break the lows right now. 2 million shares on this. Typically a stock I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole, but very obvious. The weakness was very obvious in the pre-market this morning. Let's go on to just quickly here. That one's not working. So I was going to mention that EXTN that Neil was talking about there. There was a quick flush through the pre-market support, but again, involved in an all stock deal. So it was just always going to be a quick scalp for me to the downside there, but did give you a little flush right off the open for EXTN, guys. Back to you.
And yeah, I see it. I saw a couple people talk about this name, and yes, it is running. I see you, Dave, up 13% here today.
Damn you, Dave.
Okay, so it hasn't actually halted, but it looks like, I mean, it could do so. It just broke $10 a couple of minutes ago. So if it were to extend this through 11 really quickly, you might actually see it halt to the upside. I just paid for short, so if it halts one time, it's way too far extended. I'm not taking along to the halt side. I think if you either have a 10 break here, you don't, and I don't, so I'm not chasing it. It's not going to happen. These are all-time levels here, like forget about it, but it just went into, it just did a fake halt. So it got up to 11.25. Went into that, sort of halt state, I suppose, where it's 15 seconds, it can only print lower, not higher, and then turned around. So it didn't halt at 11.25. I'm going to wait for it to actually halt to try to get into this one. I got Apple long in front of 158. That looks like it could crack. It held 06s. not GameStop. GM, I don't know why I'm thinking GameStop with GM. I did get some more shares in front of 50, so that bit of a double bottom here at 49.95. If either of those lows crack, I'm just getting out of these trades, not going to fight it too far. And Affirm looks like it just bounced, I mean, for lack of a better word, off 50.50. So that $50 level definitely looking like it's going to come into a play on Affirm. If it comes down and bounces again off 50.50, I'm just going to take it out. There's no way I'm not taking $5 on Affirm at that particular point. Like, it gave you multiple trades. The first one was a scalp in here only because of that massive size, and then we rolled into the pop and fade trade on Affirm. But if it holds 50.5, I might as well bank the profit down here on Affirm. It's been a good run on the stock, but if I'm thinking we could be making a bit of a bottom and Apple wants to hold out, and I'm even I just got a leg out on GM. If we're going to make a bit of a bottom here, I should be covering this last short as well. You can always get back in on pops if the market's going to be weak. I have no problem shorting Affirm at most levels, especially if it gets back to VWAP.
Oh, man. Yeah, so we're making a little bit of money back, but we can't celebrate too much here as it's been a negative day, but we are defending. We talked about, sorry, I'm on Palantir. So we did talk about defending a little bit of Palantir out there. We do take that long in Ford. I just meant to go over and look at this stock, to be honest with you, look at some key levels on this name. But Ford, we're long, so let's see where we can go. We're long at 46, so always we'll take something out around 50 if we can. And then, am I on Ford? Yeah, and then we'll look at that after. So just trying to manage some positions, get some orders out here because I'm long Palantir right now, 8 cents in the money. We're long Ford, which appears to be a good one, but we don't know. We'll see where this one goes. Ford right there, now taking out 50s, 51s. Palantir to the upside. There's Ford right there starting to go. We got some 1946s, so making some nice money back on this one. And then Palantir, man, just trying to scalp this one out as well. So let's see where we go. But for right now, it's a little bit spicy for me for Palantir, for Ford, and for Microsoft, as we have 3 nice longs that we need to start to manage because we have a lot of risk on the long side right now.
Yeah, there we go. Just got, like I said, I got first leg out on GM. Next leg is going to be in front of VWAP, in front of 50.75 here. So double bottom at 49.5. I'll tell you, Apple's starting to turn. Like, the market's starting to turn a little bit here. So, I mean, Apple's just going to follow and then lead the market as well. But I'm taking first leg out. If I can get Apple around this VWAP here, so like 159 to 159 and a quarter is where I'm going to look to get some shares off. And again, might be thinking a little bit aggressive, but I'm long 2 names here, which I think are just going to flat out follow the market pretty harshly here. So I want to make sure I'm taking that profit. Come here. I just put an offer in on Apple up there at like 20s and then immediately starts running away from it. I'm not going to move it. Who cares? It's either going to come and fill me or not. But I did get out of Affirm at that bottom. It double bottom in front of 50.50. I just took the profit and ran. So I can be happy to ring the Reggie on this one. It's been almost perfect when it comes to the short trades. At least, oh, it didn't do the perfect graph. Boo. Okay, I don't know. I'll do the slap shot if that's even going to work. We'll drop the slap shot action because apparently it's still hockey season, I guess. But today was more about if you got a short that you liked and you got the top, managing to hold on to it, and then also waiting for the curl. Wait for the actual test, knowing that spreads were huge this morning. Like, we're seeing big spreads on a lot of names, so you had to give these room. That's why if you replay the tape of this morning, from like 9:30 to 9:35, it was just get into your position and then be patient about it. Don't get wicked out at the top. Don't average into it way too much. Just make sure you allow the trade to work for you, and then you can start taking some profit when you start to get at some key levels. Speaking of those, we can now go with GM, and guess what? We did not miss the boat. You're going to see us miss the boat here. Why is it? See, that should be me jumping off. Anyways, I did not miss the boat on General Motors. It just got to VWAP there, so took another leg out. I still haven't taken any profit on the long in Apple, so from shorts to longs, General Motors off of 50, Apple off 158. Of course, this is what happened when it got to that first target of mine, but if the market wants to bounce here, I still feel like I want to give this Apple some room. Like, I'm sticking to this target for the first out, and then the next one's got to be 160 to 161. I'm not reloading these longs at the bottom, however, and now I have to start thinking about what are the names that I like if we start retesting some highs. DWAC back at 69, that's certainly going to be in play. I don't think Affirm has any shot of getting back to 55, so you can pretty much throw that out the window. I do think there is a decent chance, if Lucid were to get back, I think it could break this level at 35. And then I'd be thinking about, lower highs where we're shorting and then lost at 36.75 or so. So gone from all short and holding to holding some of the long bounces, looking for re-entry points on some of the better shorts from the morning. Like I said, I think DWAC stands out there. GameStop would be a potential one as well, but it's not catching any kind of a bounce. It's still down here at 93.
Yeah, let's go, guys. Barbecue up those profits. Thank God for Ford. Thank God for this, man. We just absolutely crushing it, man. We put that Ford trade on. We talked about that 1945 that we liked. It goes right up to VWAP. So we are like cursing under our breath or not. I don't know. But all the way to the upside. Cannot believe that. What a great move that has been. And we took Microsoft as well. See if we can make this name we've bled on. So, I mean, I know Neil's taking out a little bit of profit. So am I. Trying to now. We went long in there on Softy. And then there's another long that we just punched right there through 288. So that's one of our last trades there on Softy, but it only got as high there as 288.50. So let's put an offer in the 30s here for Softy. Hopefully the market will rebound. We were down, remember we were down 3 and a change, 3.2 or something at lows. So a nice little bounce back there. Palantir, we defend it. So we're Superman on this name as we continue to be on Palantir as this kids go to the upside. But look at Ford starting to crack back down a little bit. So let's just keep taking out profits as this market bounces around here. There goes Microsoft back in, so we got to watch out for that one. Palantir now 17 cents in the money. I wish it's, there it goes, up to 21. Good trade. We'll take some more out if we can on Palantir as that's starting to rip up higher. So some good trades, like Neil mentioned. You got to find the winners in this market, and I think we've done a decent job here trying to pick up some bottoms, but it was a bloodbath early. Let's hope it can clean itself up late here. Give it to him, Brendo.
All right, 10:30, guys. I was just checking on that, Dave. Remember 200 million, I guess, on the float on that, 3.5 billion. So it's not overly small, but yeah, big mover so far for Dave. Coming up in 15 minutes, happy to have Sakova Metals with us. Junior miner here in Canada, going to talk a little bit about what they're working on this year. Brad Kitchen, Chairman and CEO, coming up in about 15 minutes for Sakova. Stick around for that. In the meantime, let's check out what is happening over in Europe. Yeah, it's not good there either.
Right, Brendan. European markets are also very negative today. Banknote printer De La Rue trading in London is down more than 23% after a profit warning due to the higher COVID-19 costs. Back to you.
Yes, I mean, we're trying to bounce here, guys, for the overall market back to about 2% for the S&P.
Yeah, so we got halfway, and
we'll do hard enough.
We'll do a I don't know why I'm using congratulations because. Yeah, I shouldn't have used a crypto one there, but I didn't move the offer on Apple. I just said, okay, I'm sitting at 159.20. If it either fills or it comes back down and retests 150, and it does give me the fill. So that's out in front of this VWAP area, I suppose. But if we really caught a bottom, any kind of, look, I understand we're still down like 2.5%, almost 2.5%, over 2 on the ES. So bottom is in like serious air quotes, but this is the Apple level off that 158 on the daily where you already had a pullback here in November. You had the recent high and then it broke out from that price level. So if you cut a bottom here, I think it's worth at least a couple of dollars. GM, same thing. I'm out of half of General Motors on that long off 50. It got to VWAP. Now it's trying to break further. I'm going to take another leg out at 51 just because I don't want to, I think if it got the bottom here, I'll hold the last bit of GM for maybe like a 51.50 area and then see how far Apple can go instead. I'm just not getting the feels like, this is not accelerating enough off the bottom. You catch wipeout bottoms like this, and I'm thinking back to 08 in the market, and if we'd really made one of those, okay, some key levels hit, something like an Apple holds a low, like Softy, Ford, like these types of names start bouncing off key levels, like you'd be accelerating a heck of a lot more, and these would be like screaming a little bit, breaking VWAP by now. So I don't know. I feel like we got some good longs and some good levels here. I'm just not feeling like it's the home run that it could be. So I'm going to be trimming some profit around 51 on General Motors again. Apple, I don't mind holding on to, and like I said, just start thinking about some of these levels that could come back into play for the shorts. DWAC's not quite there yet. I was kind of hoping that would pop a little bit higher to get to 69. Coming back over to Affirm because I want to stick to what's working. It's still off that bottom. It just can't seem to go anywhere. And that Dave, that kept on going. It didn't actually, I don't know how this hasn't halted, to be honest with you, because it broke again, got to $12.
What?
Then flushed, to 1050. So there's 10% moves happening all over the place on this thing, and yet it still somehow doesn't halt. So,
oh, Dave.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with this stock. I mean, the halt rules don't seem to matter with this thing, but that seems like it should have halted down or halted up at some point. If it retests the high, I'm going to look to get some of those shorts, but I clearly missed a huge opportunity rejecting off 12 even. And yeah, I'm not sure why this didn't hold. I guess it must have gone really close and then reversed. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, again, some of those social media pumps there, that's a, what's his name? Mark Cuban's bank, right? So, okay, there we go. Not his bank, but okay, 288.20 there. We got some out on Softy. It does rip as high as 50 there. So let's be very, very patient with this one and see where we go on Softy. But let's just hit the register now and start to ring some of this off on PLTR. So Palantir, yes, sir. This was a monster trade for me, man. Bring us back to life on PLTR. We were waiting. We finally found a level of 12 and it worked. So, I mean, some of the levels not working out today, but some of the levels are working out swimmingly. Bang! Right there on Softy as we go. Yeah, what's up, Brandon? Right there, the cash cow that is Softy keeps coming in. So we'll see if this one wants to keep making some moves. I mean, we got to hold something for some nice movement to the upside. What about 30 cents on Ford right now? This is going to be a good win. Takes them out at 78, 79 if we can. As I just go over there, and of course it starts to crash down. So all right, well there it is. We'll take some. Oh, come on. Oh, no. Now it just goes down to, okay, hopefully it comes out 76. I'm just putting some offers out here. There we go. All right, to get some of these out, because honestly, these are some good levels there. So there's another out there, 76 on Ford. So we'll take that out and now watch to see what happens. But wow, this has just been crazy. AMC went as far down there as we thought it would, down to 1550 before bouncing. So right now you're coming up to that 1 minute. This is a 50 period, 1 minute standard moving average. So I think it's exponential. I think it might be exponential. I'll check for that after. But a nice little move to the downside. Not much difference in those. Just when they take the print. 16.1 though. Maybe we'll get out of this if it does go back up to the upside. We're long everything. So I'm seeing VWAP here at 16.10 on AMC. So I think that's a decent level for us to look at here. So. Yep, I'm pretty happy if we get that out around there. So a break back higher around 16.10. Let's get out and let's just watch these other names as hopefully we can continue to catch some drift here back up to the upside on Palantir. We just took that some out at 30. That was good. Microsoft, AMC, and Ford. Maybe check back on Lucid, but that's kind of been not much happening today. Like Lucid and Tesla, to me, have been pretty disappointing. I know Rivian cracked to 56.
Speaking of Tesla, I'm about to jinx something right here, but. If you look, I mean, Tesla, that support in the daily was at 885, right? So this is your 885 level. Previous, obviously a key level. You kind of had it here getting to 900, and the 885 was resistance. Nice consolidation breakout, then support. And then you look at the 15. Look at the volume spike. Okay, you guys can't. I'll do this so you can really see the volume. Look at the volume spike on Tesla at that bottom. Right? You get a break of probably the last key support level on Tesla the week of earnings. It breaks that level, you get a huge volume spike at the bottom, and then you get a turnaround. So obviously I'm in GM and Apple here, but that's the kind of wick bottom that you can have these little temporary lows, or at least that's what you'd see. I look back over on a couple of names, and they weren't quite as exaggerated as Tesla. Obviously, Tesla's a pretty volatile stock, but that looks pretty good for a temp bottom. You'd like to see it hold up above this, like if it gets back above the pre-market low, that 885, and reestablishes support there, no reason you can't get a temp rally. I've got the two longs that I like, and I'll hunt for weakness in I don't want to say garbage names, but obviously much weaker names. I wouldn't be trying to short Tesla off of these levels if it gets back to like a 900 or a 925, but I would do so with things like Affirmed and DWACs and GameStops. Brendo?
If you watch order flow on some of these guys, you can almost see when people start testing the water a little bit, putting money back in. Here's Wayfair. It just went red to green. Yeah, quite the move here. 132 up to 141. Now up 0.5% for W.
Wayfair, you got.
Yeah, they got what I need, and we are. Microsoft. So Microsoft, we reload that 87. It's up to 88. It's $1 in the money almost instantly on that reload. How you like that, Ford? How do you like that taste in your mouth? From 1945 up to 1980 right now in Ford, as that's starting to rally upside right now. And we make all the monies back that we lost early on. Palantir, 17 cents in the money. Softy trying to go. But Softy, there's a problem with you, man, and I don't know what it is. Like, it rallies and then it completely stops almost on a dime every time. Like, it wants to go, and then just fades fades back down. So I thought this would have rallied a lot more than the market once the market bounced back, but it doesn't look like it. Once again, we may have picked the wrong name here. We wanted NVIDIA down near, like, let's just see where NVIDIA is. That was 15. Yeah, that's $6. Like, we had the same thought about Microsoft and NVIDIA, and obviously this one's starting to rip upside. So definitely a mistake made by what we chose. But here we go. Let's take another piece off around 288.50 if we can on Softy.
Oh, man. There's an acronym coming to mind here, and it is, I'm just going to say the acronym. You can. Sure. It is always short sundial, and you know what that spells? I'm just going to consider that every single morning. When I come in the morning, if I don't look at a chart of sundial and figure out where it could be shorted, as long as it's below $1, I don't know what I'm thinking. Thank you guys for pointing this one out. I just showed a wick bottom on Tesla. Yuckity, yuck, yuck. Sundial wick bottom to 40 cents. So be wary of these online nonsense pumpers, like, coming in from time to time. I don't know who it was, but I think somebody was talking about it. Sundial last week is the next one to pump and dump, and you can see what's obviously down another 10% today. It was in the 50 to 60 range yesterday. You got to be wary of those, man, especially in a market like this. You can just get hurt so badly. General Motors, it's still in that dollar mark, but I'm glad we took some profit. It's Apple here that the market's really starting to bounce. Why is it still on sundial? The market's really starting to bounce. Apple's still just at 159. Like, it's not really breaking back out here. I think if this goes, if Apple can really start to go get above VWAP, break out about 159.50, then we can really start to have a little something. Because Tesla's back at 900 at this point. You're talking about Microsoft. Like, you look at something like a Facebook as well. Come on, load. You're looking at something like a Facebook as well. So the big tech names. That just got to VWAP as we speak. I think if you get some real bounce in some of the bigger names, this can really start to rally. But a lot is going. I just want to see Apple start to continue with it here, checking back in on something like NVIDIA. That's gotten back in here to VWAP. Like, if these can start to extend, break back above VWAP, then you've got yourself a rally. But I'm glad I took profit in front of 51 on GM. And this is why. Like, I scalped some out of Apple. I took profit on GM on the way up, because if we roll over from here, and this is as good as it gets, like Jack Nickel.
Yep.
It's a great movie, by the way. If this is as good as it gets, then I don't know that I want to reload off the lows. It's just, I'm not reloading any of these off the lows. If we don't break out from here, then I'm just going to give these all up at their lows of the day and be happy with the bounce that we got, because the board still looks like what Brendan is about to show you with Sector Watch.
And that would be a lot of red, as you would probably guess on a day like today. One of those days when we kind of, focus our attention on, okay, what is not leading the market? Because, it's pretty obvious it's widespread here, 1.8 for the overall S&P 500. I want to go over to the far corner here and talk about the consumer staples first off. Because if we do get a bounce and we get a continued move back to the upside, you want to know where to go. So consumer staples, guys, the only group here kind of flirting with either break even or even a little bit positive on the day. KR leading the way, 3% for food and staple stocks. CLX, some of the staple names popping up in that group. So watch some of the consumer staples, guys, moving back to the upside. Fox here on a positive note today in positive territory, almost 2%. Fox A up 2.5%. T-Mobile as well, I just see there at the bottom, up as well on the day. Everything else in the communications group, led by Netflix, very red, 8% again today to the downside for Netflix. Tech stocks leading the way. PayPal another 5%. Gap down and just kept going this morning for PayPal. Western Digital was leading the way there in the hardware equipment makers and semiconductors. Yeah, I mean, banks are red. We can talk about all of these. Consumer discretionary, red. Healthcare names, red. Travels leading the way as far as consumer discretionary names are concerned. I mentioned there was a couple of positive notes on some of the vaccine makers. Didn't matter. Even they are getting hit today. So watch out for healthcare stocks. There's Moderna, 7.3% again today for Moderna, guys. Back over to you.
All it does, man.
I mean, I just keep reloading Softy, and I mean, it just keeps working. But very, very uncertain times here for Softy. So I don't know if it's going to work or not, but we'll hit the reload there and get some out as we reload it, and it goes right back up to. So we reloaded there at 20s. We just got some out at 61, sorry. No, 51s there. So not a great one. We just had to take out some pressure as this name just keeps on getting beat up. Palantir almost back down to a reload session right here on Palantir. We got it at 12.05. We took this up to 12.30. So right now we're trying to be as patient as we can with some of these names. And that's about it, man. AMC, we're still short. Ford, we've cashed out of Ford. Like, again, Ford, like, whatever that message was this morning, guys, on Ford about how, you know, that they have too much demand. Like last time I saw that was a good thing, but again, into this market, not. So Ford down 4%. I think if you're going to buy something, Ford might be there. You're also going to want to buy, I mean, we have our guest of the day coming on, but you're going to want to buy, you know, actual physical things right now. Like I don't mind oil, don't mind something in the mining. You know, you could see what's sort of getting flushed down here. New technology, DeFi, things like that. You know, stocks like Caterpillar, some of the industrials probably need to get bought. I mean, I have no idea. Let's just check on. I'll just check Morgan first because it was, so 96. So still holding out is some of the banks. So that's pretty good today. Only down 2.5. So there is some love here for some of the names. But look at the 52-week lows today. NEO, SoFi, Netflix, Tilray, Snapchat, Palantir, MindMed, 86 cents. CGC getting killed. Square. Guys, look at Square. Like, just guess where Square is before I show it to you. And
112 with the players.
112, yeah. Was at 112. 108 right now on Square. We were talking about where the players dwell before, Neil, but now the players are going southbound, down to 108 right now on Square. So it was actually even lower today too, 107.50. So yikes, man. There's really no reprieve anywhere. We're going to stick with Softy and see if that one can make some money to the upside. We'll reload it a little bit more near 286, but for right now we have that bottom looming large down here at 286. So we're going to have to watch out for that with Microsoft.
And Apple just retested the low. So it bounces. It couldn't get farther than that 159 quarter or so, not even to VWAP, and retested the low. I said I would not reload this stock at the bottom. I did not. The only new position I have on, that's going to be, it got close, Macy's here. It curled shy of that 25 level. Cancel that off. I don't need it because I got the fill. So it curled shy of that double top. So I decided, okay, I'll try a shot here at the quarter mark, 3/4 mark, I should say, to 24.75. I mean, I'm sure it's 74s. I'll give this to like about this 90 range. I might even just take it off and then re-enter the trade up here at about 25. So I like Macy's up here. It wasn't quite the double top when it looked like the market was curling and Apple was right off that low. And I wanted something back into the shorts, and Macy's was about as close as it got. So that is a new one that I'm into. I'm still looking for something in Affirm. I'm still looking for something in GameStop, but this is Affirm. It's barely bouncing off of the lows. I think it was right to get out of it, but that might have been the only shot to get back in, like $1 away from VWAP I would have had to pay on Affirm. For now, Apple's still bouncing, so we can hold on to it, and Tesla trying to reclaim that 900 level. If you're still watching, Dave.
What's up, Dave?
I mean, it's still trying to go here. At this point, if it breaks out at 11, I think I'm probably going to try and short this one, or any pop back into 12, and then watch out for the halt. I know it didn't halt here at any point on the way upside, but it's still thinly enough traded that I would anticipate it could halt relatively easily, even if it has resisted halting twice.
So Softy right now, finally, guys. Awesome. I don't like that one as much. I like this one.
Oh my God.
Before we do anything, though, I think we got to go over to Miss V if we can and do a little bit of a like count. So when you're ready, Miss V, Rob, just let me know and we'll go over and we'll see what Miss V has been up to. But right now, Ford rocking and rolling up to the high side. Miss V, how's your morning going?
Hey Sean, thanks for asking. It's good so far. Took some profitable shorts, and guys, I hope you're in a profitable territory. Markets are red, but you know what? It's always a good idea to go long on the like button. So team, please, we're super close to get 3,000 likes, just 400 more needed. So if you didn't like this video yet, please do so. And I also want to shout out to Mike Rehan for sending us a super chat saying, I hope my NFTs aren't worthless anymore, LOL. I hope you're having a nice day, guys, and back to you.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And just checking back, look, you look at some names. You mentioned Caterpillar.
Yep.
That's down 1% on the day today.
Jeez.
So, you know, Caterpillar even under pressure. Like, there's not a lot of places that
got no love.
There's things that can be a little bit a little bit better than what the overall market is doing, but it doesn't mean that they're necessarily to the upside. Like I said, I got into Macy's. I did not mention any targets there, so I'll just jump back in. Kind of obvious. If it gets back down to VWAP, I'll take first leg out, and then 24 is sort of an obvious level as well. So I'm short at 75s, gets them out in the 50s, sort of seems obvious, and then maybe the quarters or 24 even, depending on what's happening with the overall market. Like if we break VWAP and Apple's taken out the low, I probably want to hold this towards the bottom. Speaking about holding these, General Motors cannot seem to hold above 51. That's headed back down towards VWAP. So I'm not reloading these longs, but I might hang on to the short a little bit longer on Macy's if the market cracks down again. It is 10:45. Let's get right over to Brennan. We've got our guest of the day.
Hey guys, thanks so much. We're going to the mining sector today to talk to Sakova Metals, junior miner that's operating in the province of Quebec, aggressively, in fact, looking to acquire assets and process assets in the province of Quebec. We're so happy to have Brad Kitchen, Chairman and CEO of Sakova Metals, with us today. It's great to have you, Brad. Thanks for doing this once again. Let's jump right into what the company is currently doing in Quebec, because it's an interesting.
I have to say this, but I'm not hearing you.
A little audio issue, guys. Maybe we can sort that out. We'll come back to Brad, guys, as soon as we get that. Okay.
Actually, I'm on again now. If that works.
Okay.
How are you?
Let's try this again. I'm great. Good to have you. As I was saying, Brad joining us from the West Coast this morning, so it's very early there. We appreciate your time. The company aggressively, as we said, looking to acquire assets in the province of Quebec, cleaning up older mines. So the current project, a 1919 era property that has left some tailing ponds behind. Tell them about the process of cleaning that up.
Well, it's a pretty simple thing, Brent, and it's simply a case of going in and taking these toxic tailings, extracting the gold and the silver. And when we're finished with that, we're getting about 35 ounces of gold a day. That's going to continue on for about 4.5 years, just with the tailings that are currently on the site. And once we finish with that at 35 ounces a day, then all the tailings are no longer toxic. So what we're able to do then is return the site to its natural state. So we're going in, we're extracting gold, we're extracting silver, we're taking this ugly, toxic scar on the land. And it's a beautiful part of the world. It's right in between Montreal and Quebec City. And and we'll be able to return to its natural state.
So when it comes to, you mentioned this property actually located in a beautiful part of the country, and it absolutely is known as the, I guess, cottage country area of the province of Quebec, which is amazing. Let's talk a little bit about the work that's being done right now. Tell us what stage we're at, where timelines are looking as far as getting this up and running.
I appreciate having us on now because it's perfect timing for us. We're just completed the acquisition of the asset from a company called DNA Canada. We have a mill on site. We've acquired the majority of the equipment. It's now in site. We're retrofitting some of it. We're going to be starting construction soon, and the engineering is just about completed. So that should be done the next week or so. So we're actually in a position where we'll be in production within the next, I'm going to say 6 to 9 months.
Which is great for not only the company, but also for the project, in the sense that it's going to be repairing the land, as we were talking about. The best part about this, Brad, as you were saying to me when we spoke earlier, this is one of many potential sites, not only in this area, but in the entire province of Quebec. What are we looking at as far as the ability to take this same process and kind of move out and do this, repeat the process?
Well, the good thing about where Sakova is right now is we've got our project and we've got the permits. The permits can take a little while. It can take about 3 to 4 months. But as you mentioned, there's about 263 sites in the province of Quebec alone that are basically abandoned, toxic mine sites. It's going to be our job to at least get 3 or 4 of those in the next year and a half, and do the exact same process. But it's critical for us because we're going to be into production in the next year. So it will give us the time, it will give us the cash flow that we can acquire these other assets, and then we can turn around and do the same thing and acquire gold and silver from each of these sites.
Which is obviously the aim and the goal here as we, work towards the end of, or the latter half of this year. When are we expecting the first mine to be up in production? And tell us a little bit about what's next for the company as well.
Okay, so we have just completed, we're just about ready to complete the initial engineering for the plant. So we now have to, basically, it's like a big jigsaw puzzle. We have the equipment, we have the mill, we're adjacent to the tailings, so the infrastructure is in place. So it's going to take us another 6 to 9 months to combine everything, put the equipment together, put the production mill, so that we're going to be producing about 1,000 tons of tailings, or processing about 1,000 tons of tailings over the next 6 to 9 months.
Brad Kitchen, Chairman and CEO of Sakova Metals. SEK is the ticker, guys, listed here in Toronto on the CSE exchange. A pleasure, Brad. We hope we can get an update in the near future.
Look forward to it. Thank you very much for having me on.
Have a great day. Sakova Metals, guys.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, very, very interesting names there. You could get some of those depressed assets. So thank you so much, Brendan, for that. I'd love to hear an update on that and how that was all working. But while that was happening, Colbert goes, meanwhile. I don't know if you guys have seen that skit or not, but meanwhile, the market is just still kind of going down here, down that 2.5%. But we were not mistaken, dropping some bombs again as, well, we don't reload grenades, but sometimes we do. Woo, okay, Palantir, yes, sir. The money bags are coming in on PLTR, man. Really, really happy with the way this one's performing. Every time it gets back down to 12, obviously down 10%. We ain't too pleased, but the action on this name is very, very pleasurable to the upside. That sounded disgusting. As it's going back up to the upside right now, we are long right here at 1206 on a reload, and a decent one at that. So when it starts popping up, we'll cash it out. If it gets up to 1225, good for us on that one. And then Microsoft's another one that we reloaded at that bottom, and now starting to get some kind of love back up to the upside. But I got to take something out. I didn't even realize we even have any offers up here. I don't know what that's all about, but there it is. We'll take another piece out on Softy. Too many reloads to talk about, but there's one, and there's the out, and there's the reload back upside. Let's see if Softy goes. Maybe the NASDAQ gets back to minus 2%, and there it goes. Softy now $1 in the money. Palantir 20 cents in the money. Ford 30 cents in the money. AMC still cruising with $1. So we made a lot of money back, but it's been a little nasty as we did have some downside pressure today, and that never works if you're long. But there goes Softy. Come on, Softy, let's go back up to 288, please, and thank you.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and keep the profits here, but I did stop out of Apple. I said if it retook the low, I wasn't gonna reload this name. I didn't reload it here. It broke the low. Now it's trying to bounce back to the upside. I still have both Macy's and Macy's to the short side in front of 25, and then GM, because the first thing that I got long, the level I liked was that 50 area in General Motors. So if let's say we actually do get a bounce. Apple looks like it's bouncing right here, and the market actually holds a higher low. I think holding GM maybe to like a 52 does, like I said earlier, it doesn't even have to get back to Friday's close to be a fantastic little long here opportunity for you. And if you're following along on Tesla, thinking that this has been a bit of a barometer for the market, it is now holding above that 885, like double bottom here in front of VWAP 885. I think if that holds, certainly, these longs on any of the EV names, whether it's for GM or even, Tesla or like Lucid, could hold up pretty nicely. But it is barcoding for now. So holding the long in only General Motors for myself as we head to Miss V, I believe. Or was it Brennan?
We'll work together on this. How about that? We'll tell you a little bit about what's coming up tonight and tomorrow morning, guys. As we said, the hugest of weeks for earnings, this earnings calendar. So here we go. This is tonight and tomorrow morning.
All right, I mean, I love AXP. I mean, honestly, I think American Express is a name that we're gonna have to look at in any of these dumps to buy some more. Like, it's not. I know it's not a bank, but kind of fits in there. I think that they're probably going to be, much, much better on a reopen play. And then,
there's a few names I like.
Yeah, I hold IBM and I hold Johnson & Johnson.
Yeah, I like any of those sort of like safer plays. I think like a Johnson & Johnson in its space, but I hold G. That's one of the things I was adding to last year when I rotated too early. And then what's interesting also, Lockheed. Right?
Yep,
I mean, we're not talking deeply about politics, but I think everyone understands what's going on. what's going on in the Ukraine, and certainly, that's like some of those defensive names, I suppose, for lack of a better word, are not going to be bad places to be in. So, some good names that are reporting there. Certainly, the tech names reporting later in the week, I think we're a little bit more interested in as far as the overall market and the direction that we're headed. This is, Tesla. Apple,
names.
Those are going to be important, but some definite good names to be rotating to. They're going to report, and you get a good indication on this week from like your GEs, your J&Js, and your Lockheeds as well.
Yep. So right here, guys, I just want to talk about, you mentioned getting into GE at some point this year. That's kind of the sad thing about GE right now is I think it's a great company, and you're negative on the name. I mean, it's the same as me. I haven't been able to buy back into GE. I'm actually long GE like at 5, but I bought it in 2008, which is ridiculous, and I've sold a little bit of it, but it hasn't really performed that well. We had that reverse split up to $108, so you're down to 94. So I think GE is a good name to look at here into earnings because you are kind of barcoding right now, not barcoding, but you do have some support down here between 92 and 94, and that's exactly where we're at right now on GE. So I agree. I think for industrial, GE, Boeing are names that I own in that space. So, yep, I do like those names. And right now, $2 in the money for Softy as we're starting to get up to VWAP again. Sorry, the 50 period right now on Softy. How many shares do I have? Ugh, good. I still have enough to get some out. So let's put some out if we do break above this. 287.20, something like that. Close enough. We got it. We took hits on this name, right? So you don't get in at 287 and then again at 286 and then get out at 285.90, which would be an average hit of about $1 and change. So when you're in the money, $2, sometimes you gotta let them ride just a little bit more than that even, just to get your better risk to reward ratio. But here it comes fading back in, and I'm looking at you triple Qs as right now, and I know the VWAP on the triple Qs, trust me, is still fine because these aren't really big, huge volume prints back up here to the upside. So I'm still looking at that. It is taking out VWAP right now and starting to go higher and higher and higher. Miss V, what up?
Hey guys, thank you so much for starting this trading week with us. I hope you're doing a great job there on your trading. And I want to remind you, the team, just 200 more likes to get 3,000. And again, it's always safe to go long on the like button. Please join Prad and me to continue trading this red day. And happy National Peanut Butter Day, everyone.
Peanut butter.
Jelly.
Yeah. So first of all, I eat peanut butter like almost every single day. My daughter does too. It is absolutely delicious, and it is a great source of protein. But you cannot, oh my goodness. I actually wish I had like Ritz crackers and peanut butter right now so I could eat in front of you guys. But you know what National Day it is for me? It is National Send a Message to Roger Goodell and everybody in the NFL about the nonsensical, ridiculous, garbage overtime rules in the playoffs. There is no way that the greatest game that I've ever seen with two quarterbacks playing out of their minds should have ended without both of them at least trying to be able to get the ball. Like I'm a Bills fan, and it hurt like heck to watch that game at the end, but I've never seen two guys play at a level like that, or even two teams play at a level like that.
Well, two guys. The defense was absolutely pathetic.
The defense, they were unbelievable.
Come on, the defense.
We were robbed of an opportunity to see them go back and forth over and over again.
But that's really only because you couldn't play defense in the last 13 seconds, which I think...
It's Patrick Mahomes, man.
I know, but that was brutally done. I mean, look, my team lost as well. It was a sucky weekend, but it was a great weekend for NFL.
Yeah.
I mean, the games were absolutely amazing, and I think there's going to be a lot of talk, obviously, about your defense and then about where my quarterback is going, and I hope he's going out the back door, front door, whatever the hell we kick him out of.
Don't sleep on Denver.
I mean, he's under, so we have control for the next year. So he's going to have to be, Stafford went for what, 3 firsts and a second? And Goff? I mean, I don't know what Denver's going to throw to us, but I don't mind Baker in like 5 firsts, but we'll see what happens on that one. Okay, look.
I don't think you want Baker, bro.
We don't want Baker, but do we want Love? I mean,
okay, fair.
We got a couple of projects.
So anyways, it's 11 o'clock. We can talk football all day long. We can talk trading all day long. But you guys want to get on over to Market Movers. Time for those Trader Prad and Ms. V. Go get them.
Welcome to Market Movers. Hope everyone had a great week. I'm your host, Trader Prad, the beautiful Miss V to my right.
Thank you, Prad. Hey, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. Please, as usual, be active on the chat, ask us anything, and don't forget to like this video. I hope Prad is like number 1 today. Well, interesting day. A lot of redness still, Prad. How's your day going?
Yeah, really up and down all over the place. Okay. Started off with a really big day and then gave it back, and now getting back to break even.